Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Good morning to life.
Good morning.
Music. Talk. Inspiration. In perspective.
Express yourself.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Citi FM, your station.
It's a refreshing lifestyle.
Citi FM, 97.3.
This is your word that you've been waiting for all night. Darwin, where are you? How many know that God is able to do exceedingly, abundantly above all you could ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us?
Hallelujah. How many believe it tonight? Somebody turn to your neighbor and tell your neighbor, he's able. Tell somebody else, he's able. Y'all ready? Exceedingly, abundantly, above all you could ask or think, according to
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation. The Citi Breakfast Show, rise above the noise.
God is able to do just what he said he would do. He's gonna fulfill every promise to you. Don't give up on God, 'cause he won't give up on you. He's able. How many believe it tonight? Yeah, yeah. He's able. Thank you, Jesus. Come on, y'all. I need y'all to help me sing. God is able to do just what he said he would do. He's gonna fulfill every promise. Yes. Don't give up on God. Tell somebody, 'cause he won't give up on you. He's able. I believe it tonight.
The city's biggest conversation.
Yeah. He's able. Somebody shout tonight. He's able. Hallelujah. We're going up. God is able to do just what he said he would do. He's gonna fulfill. Yeah. Every promise to you. Tell somebody, don't give up. 'Cause he won't give up on you. Here we go. He's able. Yeah. Somebody shout again. Here we go. He's able. Yeah. I'm gonna sing this, and then y'all sing. Oh, 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 oh. He's able. Y'all sing. Come on, take it up. Oh, 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 oh. He's able. Y'all sing. Yeah. Y'all sing. I'm going up. Oh, 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 oh. He's able. Sing. Here we go. He's able. He's able. He's able. Yes, he is. I tried it.
27 minutes past the hour.
Tried it.
God is able to do what he says he will do. He's going to fulfill every promise to you. Don't give up on God because he won't give up on you. He's able.
He's able. He's able.
Simple message, straightforward.
He's able. He's able.
Faith is the substance of things hoped for. It's the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report. For through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. So God is able. The real question is, are you able to believe? Once the vision is clear, once the preparation has been made, your faith makes you unstoppable. He will do his part, but can you do your part? Can you pay the price? Will you stick in there? It takes not just consistency, but also persistence to accomplish the exploits of faith. And every faith worth its salt will be tested. So yes, the greatness of a vision does not guarantee its accomplishment. Don't say, well, my calling is to save the world and therefore it's going to happen. No, you have to apply yourself. So a bad person with a weak vision can accomplish it more than a good person with a vision that he's not persistent about. So you just have to believe and stay in there till you get it done.
God is able to do just what.
That's Business Sense brought to you by ADB. Get in touch for a special personal loan top-up that will make it easier for you to pay back. That will extend the time for doing same and give you peace of mind. It's the special personal loan top-up to meet all your needs, including domestic, mortgage, rent, school fees, and more. Call 059-384-4898. ADB, truly agree and more.
Meet Mr. Answer. He prefers to receive money from his friends and loved ones through the Agricultural Development Bank's remittance services, and his reason is simple.
Oh, for me, my brother lives overseas and he often sends me money. I can access it at any ADB branch nationwide, and what he sends is exactly what I receive. No wahala.
Is that why you prefer ADB's remittance services?
Of course. Well, whether it is Western Union, MoneyGram, ZPay Instant Money, Unity Link, Real Money Transfer, or Transfast, receiving my money through ADB's remittance services is guaranteed. And with some of these services, you can receive the money directly into your ADB account. Do you know what the best part is?
Share with us.
You see, during this Ramadan, Easter and Eid al-Fitr, I'll be receiving money transfers. But I'm not worried because I can receive it at any ADB branch or selected branches on Saturdays and holidays. So my brother, you see, if you go somewhere else and you don't receive payment on time, all I can say is, Woko Hoko, yeah, gay.
Visit any of ADB's 87 network branches nationwide, whether you are a customer or not, for the best in remittance services. ADB, truly a Greek and more.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
I just want to tell you all the things you are and all the things you mean.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the
When I
city's
find
biggest
myself
conversation.
believing there's no place to go, when I feel the loneliness inside my heart, you're the answer to my prayer. You're with me everywhere. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need tonight. Give me shelter from the rain. You breathe life in me again. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need to know tonight. We're trying to find a friend, and only time can tell us if we win or if we lose, and who will stand beside us when there's darkness all around me. You're the light I see when I need someone to ease my troubled mind.
The City Breakfast
You're
Show.
the answer
Rise
to
above the
my
noise.
prayer, and you're with me everywhere. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need tonight. Give me shelter from the rain. You breathe life in me again. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need to know.
6:33.
Oh, tonight.
Lionel Richie getting us ready for the newspaper review. It's Wednesday, 26th. Newspaper review brought to us by Total Energies. A poorly maintained car engine can age faster. We offer ART with our newly formulated quartz. Enhances optimal performance for your engine. Improves protection. Makes everything better.
My prayer.
Keep your engine younger for longer with Total Quartz. It's an interactive show. Get in touch 054-998-6996.
Miracle, you're all I need tonight. Give me shelter from the rain. You
And it looks like it's going to be a lot of rain. In fact, it looks like it's already raining in some parts of the sea. You know, there are some storm clouds on the sea.
Somewhere.
Yes.
Tonight.
We're getting straight into the newspaper review. My name is Bernard Avle. I'm here with Godfred Akotobuafu. Good morning, Godfred.
Good morning, Bernard.
And Richard Delaskai. Why did they add Esquire to the name of a lawyer? Just you know.
So basically, it's a title of some kind.
Is it for all lawyers?
I mean, yes. I mean, it's used to distinguish, lawyers from other folks.
Esquire.
Yeah, because I mean, it started basically in the UK.
Okay.
Reserved for the nobles.
So it's not old-fashioned.
It's
not old-fashioned.
To a large extent, you would say it's old-fashioned, but I mean, people take it seriously. I don't like that.
Yeah, but some people add it.
Yeah,
ESQ.
I don't like it. I just call me Richard Sky. That's fine.
No, because you Sky is a brand. So you don't need it, but some people do. You're a brand, and every morning you have 2 hours to shout. And your laughter is even coded, so you don't have a problem. But if you suffer to get your law, you put your Esquire extra.
The worst form of it,
Yes.
that one is not a problem.
Yes.
The worst is actually where you see people write lawyer Richard Sky.
It's also wrong.
It's wrong. I mean, it's just
I think it's
like saying journalist Bernard Avle.
Maybe it's the way we journalists sort of media people interview them. So I have lawyer Amaliba.
No, it's wrong. I have Amaliba, who is a lawyer.
Oh, instead of putting the lawyer first.
Well, so it means you are giving him a title. But meanwhile, it's just a profession. It's not a title.
Oh, okay. But me, if I suffer to get the law, I add the Esquire. Law is hard. Godfred.
I tell you. Anyway, well, let me also say good morning to a policewoman who's doing some really good work at the airport MTTD.
Okay.
She's normally stationed at the traffic light at the Jack and Jill, Association International. The traffic lights there.
Yeah, that's the Patrice Lumumba.
Yeah. Corporal Oklu. Yes, very small woman.
But she's doing a big job.
I think the work, the changing the police mentality will not be easy. But some really good.
We need shining stars, to make it happen.
The way she interacts with people, like normally you don't have on your seatbelt or something. Say, please stop, park your car. Do this. No. She'll tell you put on your seatbelt. It's not
Talks to you properly.
Next time do this. Like it's for your own good. Why are you doing this?
Yes, please.
She won't waste your time. So good morning to her, and those who work with her, let her know she's doing a good job. Anyway. A policeman is leading the front pages of all the
and it's not a good story.
It's not a good story, unlike the one I was just telling you about.
Good story at all.
Republic Press goes with Tycoon Cop Cage, and that's his nickname, Inspector Ahmed Dakun, aka Tycoon. So the front page of the paper. And then the Agric Minister engages stakeholders. President must not appoint EC members. This is coming from the CPP. And Michael Sumaila Lassia writes that the new taxes will collapse banks and businesses. Meanwhile, the NDC is roaring over the Galamsey report. Story comes to the foot of Sami Jemfi.
Okay, let's take you to the Chronicle. The big story says, and the alleged killer wept. I didn't intend to kill my lover. What happened is between God and I, he said in Tree. Also, NDC wants a special prosecutor to probe leak Galamsey report, and the recruitment of film launch premieres 13th May at Silverbird. Some other story here on the front page.
Front page of the final newspaper also goes with Inspector Metumesi's story. Akufo-Addo calls for united front to curtail growing maritime insecurity in the Gulf of Guinea. That's Ghana's president. And Ghana Gas to acquire Ghana Cylinder Company. I'll give you details of that later.
The Ghanaian Times says this morning, effects of illegal mining on forest and native tree species in danger. Face extinction due to destruction of natural regeneration. Also, a policeman in court for killing girlfriend at Edum. Something here that says Bolgatanga to host Maiden May Day parade. And Africa needs sustainable development-oriented people to transform the continent, according to Adelaide Ejepong. And the president's call for action to deal with maritime insecurity also here on the front page.
All right.
That story also visits the front page of the Meridian newspaper, as does Inspector Ahmed's story. So yeah, Bernard, it's basically the same story in all the...
Yes. And if you go to the Custodian newspaper, we trust Senyu Husi. Individual bondholders are declaring support for what he is doing. Also, obey court order on CDC land. As so many direct security operatives. He's the National Security Coordinator. And then also something here that says Cozy shows love for Muslims in Adentan.
All right, let me take you online, citynewsroom.com, quite a number of stories there. Massive challenges ahead if Ghana fails to secure IMF deal. This is Joe Jackson, and he says we need to do this by May. A couple of stories on Galamsey. NDC urges Parliament OSP to probe inform Boating Galamsey report. Also, Akufo-Addo collapsing Ghana's cocoa sector. This is Mahama. Meanwhile, 82 Ghanaians successfully evacuated from troubled Sudan. And then the president gives Ghana Gas the green light to acquire Ghana Cylinder Company. Remember this controversy over this particular matter. The president has okayed the deal. In other stories, WTO boss has hailed Ghana for DDEP but warns against fiscal indiscipline. And then we'll assess the Fiam Ekpos Galamsey petition before probe begins. This is Joseph Whittal of Shraj. Tomato traders blame shortages on insurgencies in Burkina Faso. And then, according to the prosecution in the Kumasi police case, police inspector killed lover over 5,000 CD debt. Lots of anger in Kumasi over this story on City Newsroom. Major Online will give petition to probe Galamsey report the needed attention. This is Shraj. Also, OSP must act with alacrity in probing Frimpong Boating's report. Sami Jemfi. Akufo-Addo missed big chance to make clear his position on LGBTQ+. This is Kwabena Ejepong. And then U.S. woman arrested in Sydney with golden gun in luggage. That's also on the front page. City Business News. Banks to experience 6.1 billion cedis in losses over DDEP, according to a banking specialist. Also, contractors threaten to sue government over unpaid debts. In fact, still on the banks. So the City Business News story is an analysis by Professor Etienne. Bloomberg is also saying that Ghana's top banks post first loss as nation restructures debt. And we are told that so far it's $1.4 billion in impairments. GCB Standard Chartered Bank report combined loss of $75 million US. And this is just two.
Does that include the ones who were put together after the
they've started posting their results, and almost all the banks will make losses induced by government haircut. So it's a haircut loss. Now, a couple of stories on the Sudan situation. So as we read, 82 Ghanaians have been asked to leave or been rescued from Sudan. We are told that, yesterday the US said the parties had agreed to a ceasefire. Now, today, the UN is saying there's no sign that Sudan rivals are ready to negotiate any ceasefire. because sporadic gunfire is still ringing out. Now, if you go to Reuters News, Sudan's al-Bashir, former strongman, moved to military hospital before fighting. So it'd be like they did not say fight, they can't fight. So Sudan's toppled leader Omar al-Bashir was moved from the prison he was into a military hospital in the Sudanese capital before the fighting broke out there on April 15. Two sources at the hospital have said. So that's a story there for your attention. So let's get into the Kumasi police story. Then I'll give you the highlights of the latest on the Galamsey report. The Herald's front page is saying that ex-minister reveals government and military lied about Major Mohammed's murder at Denchira. And then they also dig out the truth about some issues there. Okay. State witnesses running from Oponi's Agongo criminal trials also on the front page. And then Ochihini didn't sell Royal Cemetery. Amanase chief beats retreat. And so those are some of the stories in the Herald for the morning.
Okay, let me take you to page 2 of the Republic Press.
But you just got the graphic as well. I don't know if you did the headline.
Yes. So the graphics front page says 22% of wage bill in wrong pockets. That's coming from the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. That's their big story. Okay. So let me take you to Kumasi and this really sad story.
Yeah,
Inspector Ahmed Chumesi, who has been arrested at Seche, near Fidiasi in the Ashanti region following the killing of his girlfriend in a doom in Kumasi. He's revealed why he decided to kill her. This was because she owed him an amount of 5,000 Ghana cedis. It was further disclosed that the police officer decided to shoot his girlfriend after having a misunderstanding with her and asked her to refund his 5,000 Ghana cedis. I have no intention to commit the crime. What happened is between me and God, he's quoted as saying.
The story, as was reported by our correspondent, was so sad. You should see the sister and the brother of the deceased in court. Very, very tragic indeed. And I don't know, some of these cases happen, but people should not be trigger happy. Like talking to your girlfriend, what are you doing with the gun? What is the gun even doing in the conversation? You know, were you carrying it with you in the house? Where were you? So all of that. But the case has attracted a lot of attention. And the family said to our reporter that they are encouraged by the speed with which the court processes have started. And it's a story that we'll keep an eye on throughout. So thanks for that report. Getting back to Sky Chronicle.
Yes, let's stay with matters, in the court, because the Chronicle has a story on page 2 that says witnesses are not willing to testify in Opuni trial. This matter has taken a long time, and this is quoting a deputy attorney general. Now, the stories are by Benis Besse, and Benny says this morning that Alfred Yeboah, Deputy Minister for Justice and Attorney General, says prosecution witnesses are not willing to testify in the trial of Dr. Stephen Kwabena Opuni and two others. Now, according to him, not only are the prosecution witnesses unwilling to testify in the case, but some are also on retirement. This, he said, was preventing the prosecution the chance of filing witness statements as ordered by the court at the last agenda date, which was April 4. Now, Mr. Tua Yeboah therefore prayed the court to give the prosecution 30 more days to enable them file the witness statements. Now, he explained that some of the witnesses refused to testify because they had mounted the witness box for 2 years. I mean, it's
slow. It's slow. Now, let me go to the Frimpong Boateng report. Siraj is saying, though, assess the Fiamekos Galamsey petition before the probe begins. He filed a petition at the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice through his lawyer, Nikpako Samoa Ado. I think it's the chairperson of Siraj has been speaking to reporters, and he's basically confirming the receipt of the petition and assuring that it will be dealt with dispatch. Joseph Whittle, speaking to Citi News, said the various procedures will be initiated before a full-scale inquiry begins. Here's a quote: "The procedures of the commission require that we make an assessment of the complaint. It's not every complaint that is filed, actually. That means the standards of a complaint that can be admitted for investigation. So we'll do the assessment, determine which of the mandates, if any, has been invoked by the petition, after which, if there are any further and better particulars in terms of clarifications of documents, we'll ask for that from the lawyers of the complainants." So that's then the NDC itself. Let me just give you the Galamsey stories. NDC itself has been talking about Galamsey. The party's communication officer is asking for the OSP. In fact, the party itself, through the communication officer, is asking for the OSP and the Parliament to probe from Frimpong Boateng Galamsey report. So it's interesting that an MP has gone to Siraj. Now, opposition NDC has said it would formally submit requests to both Parliament and the Office of the Special Prosecutor to initiate a public inquiry into Professor Frimpong Boateng's damning Galamsey report, which implicates certain officials of the governing party. Addressing the media on Tuesday on Galamsey, Sami Jemfi said the NDC calls on a special prosecutor to take keen interest in the matter and launch a full-scale investigation into the issue with the aim of prosecuting anyone found culpable. And then he says, given the considerable public interest in the matter and what it portends for Ghana's image among the Global Committee of Nations, we should call on Parliament to set up a publicly televised and bipartisan probe into the matter to ascertain the truth. Then, just a last one on this thing, Mahama is also talking about it. He's accusing the government of collapsing the cocoa sector. Aspiring NDC presidential candidate John Mahama says the country's cocoa sector is on the verge of collapse because of the mismanagement of the sector by the Akufo-Addo government. And then he was talking to party and branch supporters as part of a 2-day tour of the Western North region. He also made some comments about Galamsey.
Okay, so Bernard, it looks like Galamsey is doing a lot in the newspapers this morning. If you go to the Ghanaian Times, there's a story on page 2. It's actually the lead story that says native tree species are in danger as a result of Galamsey. I'll give you that story and two other stories in the Chronicle. Farmers attack Achima Pejuaheni over alleged illegal sale of farmlands. Again, we're told Ochehene has no hand in the sale of Royal Cemetery. A Manse chief sets the records straight. So the first one on our trees is on page 11 of the Ghanaian Times, and it says that it's actually from Kingsley E. Hope from Kumasi. It says the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research has appealed to the government to do everything possible to fight illegal gold mining, as it is posing a great danger to the natural regeneration of native tree species in the country. Now, according to the Council, Odum mahogany, Cocrodia, and other valuable native species that give the country timber are getting extinct significantly, particularly due to the actions of illegal miners, popularly called Galamsey, in the country. Now, even though forests restore themselves, the council has observed that the activities of illegal gold miners are destroying the natural regeneration of the native trees, making the restoration of degraded ecosystems within the country very.
So that's one Galamsey story. Is there another one?
Yeah, so there are two other stories. We go to the Chronicle. Farmers attack Achim Apejuaheni over alleged illegal sale of farmlands. Now, the story says hundreds of peasant farmers in Achim Apejua, a farming community in the Eduakwa South municipality of the Eastern Region, last Friday poured out onto the principal streets of the town to register their displeasure with their chief, Osabarima Asante Frimpong Manso II, over the alleged sales of about 6,000 hectares of farmland to private developers. Now, the affected peasant farmers who are not happy with their chief allege that Osabarima Asante Frimpong Manso II had amply demonstrated intentionality to wrongfully and illegally take over their lands for real estate developers and sun-winning companies. Now, if you go to the other story, the Ochehene, we are told, has no hand in the sale of Royal Cemetery in that part of the country. Now, the story says that the acting chief of Amanase in the Ayenswa North District of the Eastern Region, Obenfo Adwa Jekum I, has stated that the overlord of the Achim Ebuakwa traditional area, Ochehene Osajefo Amoite Oforipenyin II, had no hand in the sale of the Royal Cemetery in the community to an investor. Now, addressing a press conference on Saturday, the acting chief disclosed that a document on the sale of the old cemetery had shown the sale was made by the late chief of the community, Nana Asamoah Dakwa.
So cemeteries are also being sold now.
So the story is so gory that, apparently somebody sold the cemetery and they want to redevelop that place into a filling station, and they went to exhume bodies.
To redevelop a cemetery into a filling station?
It's just horrifying. And the allegation is that, former chiefs, late chiefs, had actually, their bodies had been exhumed.
To make way for a cemetery to become a filling station. In which town?
In the Achim Ebuakwa area.
All right,
I'll
now
wait for the EPA. I have to issue a permit for it. We'll see.
Let's
Front
go to
page
the
of the
graphic.
Daily
I have a
Graphic.
couple of banking stories
Yes,
for you. So
where the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission has disclosed that preliminary monitoring report on 58 institutions has estimated that about 22% of their wage bill is unearned salaries. This development emerged from an ongoing nationwide payroll monitoring exercise to expunge existing anomalies and fraud in the public sector payroll. The exercise is to save the country an estimated 10 billion Ghana cedis annually from unearned salaries. There's a lot happening in the banking sector. Dr. Richmond,
yes.
is talking about some 6 billion.
Yes, I want to read those two stories in concert. So that's on City Business
Then
News.
Let me, I have one here for you.
Still on banking?
Yes, from Dr.
I have it here. So he says that banks will experience a 6.1 billion CD loss over the DDEP. And according to him, further examination of the domestic debt restructuring reveals that 23 banks operating in the country are projected to suffer an additional loss of 6.1 billion cedis. According to him, this is due to the reduction in coupon rate and extension of maturity periods from 5 to 15 years. Now, he says the only thing that will save the banks is for the government to operationalize the Financial Stability Support Fund of 15 billion cedis, and also for the Bank of Ghana to fully adopt and implement the Basel III regulatory framework. Now, so that's an analysis. But let me give you a report of Bloomberg. Now, they are saying Ghana's top banks post first loss as nation restructures debt. It says Ghana's move to restructure its local currency and overseas debt has resulted in the first loss on record for two of Ghana's top banks. GCB, the country's largest lender by assets, posted a 593.4 million CD loss, which is about $50 million for the year to end December. Its first loss since, guess when? 1993. This is the first time GCB has made a loss since 1993. And this is when Bloomberg started maintaining data. Standard Chartered Bank, Ghana, which is the biggest bank by market value. So there are various ways of assessing banks. Yes. So GCB is the biggest bank by lender, by in terms of assets, how much is. And then the Standard Chartered is the biggest by market valuation. They also reported a loss of 297 million cedis. That's about half of what GCB lost. And then we are told that banks have so far taken a hit of about $1.4 billion. According to Bloomberg's own calculations, as Ghana restructures most of its public debt, estimated at about 576 billion cedis. And then they start with different angles. GCB took a charge of 1.83 billion cedis after impairing its debt securities, while Standard Chartered Bank, the amount was 173 million cedis. So Ghana's lenders have been given a month's extension to release their full year earnings. So when the earnings come, we'll tell you more about the position of our banks as they release their results this week and next week.
Okay, so let's stay in the business or the financial space, because if you go to the custodian, page 3 has a story that says, "We trust Senyo Husi, individual bondholders are declaring." Now, Awudu Mahama and Usmanu Al-Hassan write that the Ghana Individual Bondholders Forum, IBF, has reaffirmed confidence in the leadership of its lead convener, Mr. Senyo Husi, to recoup their investments. Now, other conveners of the forum have therefore pledged to continue to work assiduously to advocate and effectively represent the interests of individual bondholders' collective investment schemes. Now, the pledge followed a letter submitted to the Finance Minister by Individual Bondholders Association of Ghana, in which it recused itself from deliberations of the technical committee set up to discuss the settlement of outstanding and future principal and coupon payments due to individual bondholders.
The Finder has 3 very strong stories on page 11. 82 Ghanaians have been evacuated from troubled Sudan. So this is some good news. And then Ghana Gas is acquiring the Ghana Cylinder Company. The acquisition of the company will help it acquire the necessary resources to help run it efficiently. This was captured in a letter the president wrote to the MD of the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company Limited. And then finally from me...
Yeah, but that's... anyway, we can discuss that later.
Yes, the Ghana Soybean Farmers and Aggregators Association has called on government to repeal the import and export restriction of soybeans to sustain the livelihoods of its farmers and aggregators in the country. According to Mr. Abdul Hakim, he's a director in charge of administration. He said that the implementation of the regulation had become a thorn in the flesh of soybean farmers, as government agencies were using the regulation to obstruct the trade in the country.
I'll give you a story that Kai can link to his final story. Tomato traders are blaming shortages on insurgencies in Burkina Faso. The National Tomato Transporters and Sales Association have attributed the surge in tomato prices in recent weeks to the current difficulties in importing from conflict raiding Burkina Faso, which has led to the shortage of the product in the country. According to the Queen Mother of the Great Accra Tomato Transporters and Sellers, Otum for Charity, Ghana relies heavily on imports to meet its demand for tomatoes, but recent disruptions in the supply chain from its northern neighbor have left retailers struggling to keep up with demand. Now, she says that it's been increasingly difficult to bring the tomato in because the insurgents sometimes intercept the cargo and it makes things difficult. She said, for example, a crate of tomato goes for about 130,000 CFA. The high exchange rate is also not helping us. You need to pay transporters. So if you borrow money for your trade, you have to pay the debt. And then she talks about the dangers she went through these past few days just to bring tomato into the country. It takes 3 days to harvest tomatoes and bring them to Ghana. When it gets here, some of the tomatoes start to rot. There are conflicts when you go to buy tomatoes. It takes hearts to travel and come back. We sometimes don't eat or drink water for 3 days. We travel. Human beings are beheaded before our eyes. They do not attack Ghanaians. If you show them your Ghana card, they will let you pass. We do not understand the conflict. We are only there to buy tomatoes to come and sell here. So, Charlie, it is serious.
So inland, there's a problem. On the high seas, too, we have a massive problem there because pirates are doing all kinds of things, and the president is jumping into the situation. And page 12 of the Ghanaian Times has a story. Let's address growing insecurity in Gulf of Guinea maritime space. President to GGC leaders. And Cliff Ekufu writes that President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has called on countries bordering the Gulf of Guinea to ensure enhanced cooperation in addressing the growing insecurity in the region's maritime space. Now, he said criminality in the maritime domain of the Gulf of Guinea was a threat to the security and economic development of the region, as such countries in the geopolitical space of the region must unite in their efforts to curtail and eradicate.
Thank you, Sky. Thank you, Godfrey. That's all we have time for. Coming up next is the City Business News.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how's your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you. Can't feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that. Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement to a camp like that?
Or cancel your mobile subscription from one place, just dial *175# to access and manage all your subscriptions everywhere you go. And also brought to you by Goil. What do you do when you run out of fuel in your vehicle? Do you just top up anywhere? Don't do that. Let's introduce you to the Good Energy family and why you must be part. 1. Goil Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP are the best quality fuels with high performance in town for your vehicle. Our Super XP Ron 95 is a high-grade fuel sold at the same price as normal fuel. And our Diesel XP is a low-sulfur one, making it eco-friendly for your vehicle. And with over 440 stations across the country, join the family that rewards you with quality for an energized driving experience. Goil, yeah, dear. Watting is here with the news. Good morning.
Good morning, Bernard, and good morning to you out there. Welcome to the breakfast edition of the City Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goil, and powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citybusinessnews.com. Coming up, fiscal outlook for the local Ghanaian economy to reduce by 6.6% in the coming months of 2023. This is according to economist Professor Eric Osei Asibe. And Director of Business Operations at Daylex Finance, Joe Jackson, predicts economic doom if Ghana fails to secure the International Monetary Fund deal as soon as possible. Let's bring you the details of our stories now. Economist Professor Eric Osei Asibe has opined that the fiscal outlook of the local economy will reduce to about 6.6% in the coming months of the year 2023. He explains that this forecast could be achieved based on government's fiscal consolidation measures as it seeks a $3 billion IMF bailout by May 2023. Earlier, the International Monetary Fund had predicted that the fiscal outlook of the country will be pegged at 7.3%, while Fitch Solutions also pegged it at 6.6%. Professor Eric Osei Asibe has been speaking on the issue.
Okay, so fiscal, the elephant in the room, is really, the projection is that the fiscal outlook looks positive. There's going to be an improvement in the fiscal deficit, which peaked at about 10.4. Last year was 10.4. 2020 was 11.2. It's going to reduce to about 6.6. The IMF think that it's going to be about 7.3. Fitch think it's going to be about 6.6. What we're going to explain that is because of the front-loaded fiscal consolidation. We expect revenue performance to be good because of the new taxes that have been rolled out. We expect expenditure cut, significant expenditure cut. How is that going to come from? It's going to come from the fact that government interest payment obligation will reduce for both domestic and then external. So expenditure is going to reduce significantly, and that could bring the fiscal deficit down.
Professor Eric Osei Asibe is an economist. Director of Business Operations at Dalex Finance, Joe Jackson, is predicting a major economic doom in the country if Ghana fails to secure the International Monetary Fund IMF deal as soon as possible. His comments comes on the back of the 2023 International Monetary Fund Regional Economic Outlook Report, Sub-Saharan Africa, which revealed that Ghana's net international reserves are expected to end in 2023 at approximately 3 weeks of import cover. Speaking to Citi Business News, Mr. Jackson stated that Ghana could experience shortages of major commodities, among others, soon if the deal is not signed to shore up the country's foreign reserves.
At this moment, I can't fathom what will happen if we don't do the deal. We have to come to the table. We have to do everything required to do the deal. Otherwise, we're facing massive shortages of foreign currency. You're facing doom short because we can't import fuel. You're facing shortages of fuel, so there'll be fuel queues. We can't import drugs. Even our own wanted jollof, the rice is imported, the chicken is imported, the tomato paste is imported. So listen, we've got to do this deal. And this is a cry to the labor front, the pension fund, and all the other stakeholders who have a role to play in making sure we get the IMF deal by the end of May.
He further urged government to show commitment towards reviving the economy and ensure public buy-in by cutting down on its expenditure.
The sad thing is that because this government has consistently refused to cut the size of government, because it's still holding on to an over 60 billion deficit, which means we're going to borrow another 60 billion in this current budget year, the moral authority to tell the pensioners, please, the situation is that is not there. But it is what it is. I can speak to you, I'm close to tears. I'm saying, let's not this happen in Ghana. Let's not this happen in Ghana. We've got to find a way to come together as a nation to resolve this issue. The government has to do this, show leadership by cutting its own expenditure, the size of government, the appointees, reduce the size of borrowing for this year's budget so that it can have some authority in speaking to the pensioners, in speaking to the other stakeholders to say, this is where we are, and this is what we have to do to stave off the disaster.
Joe Jackson is the Director of Business Operations at Dalex Finance. The Ghana Export-Import Bank has expressed confidence in the realization of its National Export Development Strategy, which aims to raise Ghana's non-traditional exports to $25.3 billion by the end of 2029. To help achieve this target, the bank is focusing on investing in the handicraft subsector. The global handicrafts market value for 2022 was $704.7 billion US, and the market value is expected to reach $1.4 trillion by 2028. Speaking during a stakeholder consultative forum on handicraft at Africa Trade House, CEO of the bank, Lawrence Ajinsam, stated his outfit's commitment towards ensuring Ghana captures a major share of the market.
We can do more. We've heard from presentation from forestry, from the president, and it appears to be that we are ready and poised to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that lie before us. And with the support of our Exim Bank, as has been testified by some of our people here, I think together we can move this country forward and increase the handicraft from 2% to just 10%, at least in the first 3 years. We will have employment creation. We will also would have increased our revenue in terms of exports. Another thing that I saw and I commented on is the mix of first generation, second generation, and third generation people here. And that gives we from Exim Bank hope that we can stand by you. The presence of Dovika, who is training artisans and now practicing the buyer-seller, I'm sure out of this meeting, we'll be able to have some engagement and sit with them. For us to also understand some of the bottlenecks and the challenges that they are facing. And for those that have also been able to tell us the journey from 1994 and the fairs that they've been able to attend, it gives hope to some of us that the handicraft will rise again.
CEO of the Ghana Export-Import Bank, Lawrence Ajinsam. Now, on the interbank foreign exchange market, where banks trade amongst themselves, the dollar is selling at 10 cedis 95 pesos. It recorded no price change. The British pound is selling at 13 cedis 59 pesos. It also recorded no price change. The euro remained unchanged and is selling at 12 cedis 2 pesos. However, at some forex bureaus in the capital, the dollar is selling for 11 cedis 95 pesos, while the British pound is selling at 14 cedis 75 pesos, with the euro going for 12 cedis 95 pesos. Let's now join Gillian Hammer of Data Bank for more on the topic 5 reasons why you should know your net worth.
Your net worth is the difference between what you own and what you owe. In financial terms, your net worth equals your assets minus your liabilities. Knowing your net worth is essential for several reasons. Number 1 is money management. You can use your income and control expenses better if you know what you own and what you owe. A net worth statement shows you how much liquidity you have and identifies the best sources for cash should you need it. Number 2 is financial planning. Knowing your net worth helps you decide how much to invest, how much money to put towards buying a home or starting a business, paying for your child's education, even providing for your own retirement. Number 3 is estate planning. Everyone needs to make a will, and knowing how much you are worth is key in determining how your estate should be divided up. Number 4 is insurance planning. Insurance is about protecting your assets. Knowing the value of your assets will help ensure you get proper insurance coverage. Number 5 is borrowing. If you need to borrow money for a mortgage or take a loan, you will likely need to provide the lender with an accurate account of your existing assets and liabilities. Your net worth will determine the amount of money the lender is prepared to offer. So get to know your net worth today.
That was Gillian Hammer of Data Bank, ending the breakfast edition of City Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, GOIL, and powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citybusinessnews.com. My name is Nanatufu Boateng. Many thanks for listening. Do have a good business day.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244-308-111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
gave up on driving out of frustration. What hadn't I done? Purging, replacing electrical parts, changing my fuel pump, and still the engine noise in my car wouldn't stop. Then I met this guy who said I should try Goil Fuel. By the way, my name is Thomas. I did try Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now my car is renewed. Yankonkwa!
Goil stocks only higher grade fuels, further enriched with XP3, multifunctional enhancer, more efficient, eco-friendly, and at no extra cost. Available at every Goil station. Ajibebia. Goil Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP. Higher grade fuels, excellent for modern engines and all vehicles. Goil, good energy. Yeah,
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Me sit in silence, sipping my liquor.
30 minutes past 7, Citi Breakfast Show. Getting ready for the sport news brought to you by the show. For over a decade, we've been providing the support for our businesses and our customers with attractive solutions. If you value security as well as a competitive return, talk to Lesheho. We have 91-day, 182-day, 365-day instruments. Call 0577 707 700. Let's help achieve your goals. Lesheho, let's improve life. Segment is also brought to you by Shell. Our fuel safe triple action formula improves engine efficiency, prevents deposit buildup, and protects your engine from wear and corrosion for extra clean, extra protection, and extra savings. Switch to Shell Fuel Safe today because extra kilometers go a long way. Benjamin Ketia is joining us. What a big day it is, particularly in the English Premier League. The title decider happening at the Etihad Stadium today. And I'm fully for Arsenal.
Yep. It's a road show as well. So it's a midweek road show.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
What time is this happening?
7 p.m. So you should come around 6 p.m. You know, the game is at 7 p.m. So 6 p.m.
Would they have fried
everything?
Fried yam and gizzard.
Calamari, gizzard, drinks, sandwich, everything there.
We'll be there.
Yeah, Charlie. The headlines: Manchester City take on Arsenal tonight in a potential title decider at the Etihad. Also, it's a road show and we are at the Cosmopolitan. So pass through tonight. Burnley, they have been crowned winners of the championship under head coach Vincent Kompany. In the NBA playoffs, there were wins for the Suns, the Nuggets, and the Atlanta Hawks. Let's start off with some local news. And former Kumasi Asante Kotoko player Yusuf Chipsa has lauded the high level of competitiveness in this season's Bet Power Premier League. The league enters March week 28 with only 7 games left to play, and the Duana Stars, the league leaders, are only 5 points ahead of Asante Kotoko, the reigning champions, who currently sit in 5th place. In an interview with City Sports, Chipsa expects an exciting finish to the league season.
Well, in general, I think the competitiveness has been great. It's been one of the toughest league. For the lack of Kotoko to have taken advantage of certain games recently, I think we would have had a photo finish for the championship. Bottom there has been tough as well. We just saw today's game ending up in 4-2. I mean, 2-2 us at 90 minutes tells you that it's been a very competitive and tough game. So far, I think the competition is getting interesting and tougher.
They have former Asante Kotoko midfielder Yusuf Chipsa speaking there. Let's get to the full fixture list. And Tamale Cities take on Hearts of Oak. There's Legon Cities versus Accra Lions. Brekum Chelsea up against Kotoku Royals. There's Kimfezo versus Bichim United. Mediama take on Dreams. Adriana take on Bibiani Gold Stars. There's Great Olympics versus Kotoko. That's tomorrow. And then there's Real Tamale United versus Karela United. So that's what the midweek action in the Ghana Premier League looks like. Let's get to some other news. And GFA President Keto Kreku has pledged to provide 140,000 Ghana cedis to beach soccer clubs for the upcoming 2022-2023 season. The season will commence on May 27th, and each of the 14 clubs will receive 10,000 Ghana cedis, as emphasized by Okreku during the launch of the Beach Soccer Premier League yesterday.
Even though today we are here talking about clubs from Greater Accra, from Central, from Volta, and from the Eastern region, soon we'll have clubs from all the other regions also participating in beach soccer. Tentatively, our Premier League will start from the 27th of May, 2023. To help our clubs for a good takeoff, the Football Association is providing each of the 14 clubs a support fund of 10,000 Ghana cedis to each of the clubs. 50% of this money will be paid immediately.
You heard GFA President Keto Kreku speaking there. Let's get to some other news. And a multidisciplinary task force has begun a 4-day review of the ECOWAS Youth and Sports Policy. The group aims to revise 2 policy documents and provide technical input for ECOWAS Vision 2030, African Union Vision 2063, and also some sustainability work as well. Francis Chooks Injuaguani is the director of the ECOWAS Youth and Sports Development Center.
All of those new trends that you see in sports, all the new trends and the challenges that young persons are facing, not just in West Africa but across the world, will be taken on board in the new policy documents that are going to emerge from this session of experts this week. What we're trying to do is simply update an old document to ensure that all new and emerging trends are effectively captured.
Let's move on to some foreign stuff and let's get a recap of last night's Premier League action. Wolverhampton Wanderers, they were 2-0 winners against Crystal Palace. Aston Villa, they beat Fulham by 1-0. So Aston Villa going really strong there under Unai Emery. Leeds United, they played out a 1-1 draw with Leicester City. Now today is the big day and we have a roadshow at the Cosmopolitan at the El Beam Plaza. It's Manchester City versus Arsenal at the Etihad, a big potential title decider. Let's get to the camp of Manchester City, and Pep Guardiola and Mikel Arteta both say the top of the table game between their sides will not decide the title race.
It's really important, not decisive, because there's still many tough games for both sides. We have more games to play, but we cannot deny how important it is. I think Mikel brings them in another dimension. In fact, they are huge competitors in all senses. They are so aggressive.
We knew from the beginning, and that City was the team to beat, probably with Liverpool, because what those teams have done in the last 6-7 years, and they fully deserve that credit and to be at the top. And we were the ones that wanted to be closing that gap as much as we possibly could, and we are toe-to-toe with them. We knew that we had to go to the Etihad. We know that after that they're going to have another 5 very difficult games. So that game is going to be really important. Is it going to define the season? The answer is no.
So first you had Pep Guardiola and then you had Mikel Arteta of Arsenal speaking there. Let's get to some other games that are happening. Nottingham Forest take on Brighton and Hove Albion. There's Chelsea taking on Brentford. Now interim Chelsea manager Frank Lampard was asked if he agrees with assertions that his team has nothing to play for.
I don't have a mentality of that there's nothing to play for, and I was fortunate enough to be part of teams that were challenging normally for stuff towards the end of the season, but that's not a given. In fact, we've been fortunate at Chelsea to have that for what, 15, 20 years now. There's a lot of clubs, big status in the Premier League, that don't do that. We do it. That's why we feel it that bit more. So I think it's important that it's just there's a reality that when you have long careers, I've had one as a player and now a coach, you won't compete absolutely every season. It's not a given. So it comes down again to your personal, pride, responsibility, wearing the shirt. We've got now 7 games, 4 against the top 4. 3 away from home. So the running's really tough. There's no doubt about that. So my interest is to see how the players react to that one because they're tough games. So there's always something on those games. I understand that and the players have to understand that.
Chelsea interim manager Frank Lampard speaking there. There's also West Ham United hosting Liverpool, and Jurgen Klopp insists his Liverpool team must keep the momentum after winning their last 2 matches.
We have to keep going. I think a lot of things to like in the last 2.5 games, and that's what we have to continue. We need to make sure that it's not that difficult for people to watch us, that they like it again, and that they think, okay, that's it. That's a good way to start a football game. It's a good way to play a football game and to finish a football game, and that's exactly what we want to do. That we changed a couple of things and that we put a finger in again with more. Give them more importance. I think that's clear. The way we defend altogether must be different to a lot of games we played this season, and it will stay a subject until I leave here.
So you had Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp speaking there. So big midweek action for the English Premier League. Talking about the Championship now, Emmanuel Benson, he came off the bench to score a stunning goal that earned Burnley a 1-0 win over local rivals Blackburn, which eventually clinched the Sky Bet Championship title for Vincent Kompany's Clarets. Now, having been second best for much of the Lancashire derby at Ewood Park, it looked as though Burnley's wait for the title would extend until the weekend, at least, with 18 days having already passed since they were promoted back to the Premier League at the first time of asking. Now, 8 minutes after his introduction, Benson cut in off the right flank and curled home a beauty, to which Rovers had no response. So they have won the Championship and they are back in the Premier League as well. Let's finish off with some basketball from the NBA. The playoffs, the Phoenix Suns are moving on to the next round of the playoffs. They have finished off the Clippers 4-1, so they will now play the Denver Nuggets in the next round. Now, the Denver Nuggets themselves beat the Timberwolves to win their series 4-1, so they are also up to the next round. And then the Boston Celtics are leading 3-1, allowed the Atlanta Hawks to claw back into that series. So it's 3-2, the Hawks winning that particular game from last night. And so a lot to come from that series as well. That's all for this morning's edition of Kickoff. My name is Benjamin Nketia, the small sport at citysportsonline.com.
Extra, let me tell you all about it.
Hey, Dolomistic. You and this your extra thing. Abeg, tell me about it.
Abenquine, look, extra is what you and your car get when you switch to Shell Fuel Save. Extra protection, extra clean, and extra savings. You get it?
Tell me extra.
Shell Fuel Save is designed to improve engine efficiency instantly, and with triple action formula that helps protect your engine from wear, corrosion, and deposit, so you get extra kilometers out of your drive.
Sir, and they're not extra,
good for your engine. Extra, good for your pocket.
Extra kilometers goes a long way. Switch to Shell Fuel Save today. Go well.
wonderful woman, and I
I
celebrated
joined
this
myself to
one,
that request
Yeah.
this morning. Phoebe, enjoy the day and have a fantastic, blessed celebration.
And let me add one more. This one is coming in again from a husband. And it says, happy 40th birthday to my lovely wife, best friend, and mother of my 3 lovely kids, Mrs. Licia Awude. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to spend the rest of my life with you. May this special day and the many years ahead be filled with joy and fulfilled dreams. It's coming in from your husband, Leslie Awude.
All right, enough of the stories. This morning, my mind is on a lady called Majwa. And, I started seeing WhatsApp status of people talking about justice for Majwa because she had been shot and killed by her by a boyfriend who's a police officer. And yesterday, matters came to a head where, of course, the police arrested this man and arraigned him for court. So I'm going to go to Kumasi to get the details of the story. It's a bit troubling listening to friends and siblings of Majwa. It's very sad the way the whole thing sort of turned out. So we'll talk about that a bit this morning. And then the latest in the Galamsey report that Professor Frimpong Boateng sent to the Chief of Staff. Now, the latest twist is that the NDCMP for North Dai has instructed his lawyer to send a petition to the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice. So this is a substantive movement on the matter. So it's no longer a call. So, for example, NDC made a call, OSP should do this, Parliament should do this. But now this is actually, they've sent a full petition. So we're going to get into what he's asking Shraj to do and what that's going to mean. But there's something else on my mind, And this evening, it's funny. I am not an Arsenal supporter, but I'm very, very, I'm troubled. I'm troubled by,
Arsenal is so not the day. Sometimes, me, I'm supporting them, make them win the team. Arsenal, they go do when it matters most.
Then they'll go and do.
Then they are capitulating under pressure.
So today we are doing a roadshow to support Arsenal. That's what that's the way I see it.
We should actually, ask Maufama, Mauli, Chikata, and the crew who pray at midnight and then also
we have more important
to also pray for them. No, because Arsenal need a team. Because if they don't win this thing,
Charlie, you've been guarding the top of the table for the entire season.
It's just the past 3 games they've drawn.
I'm told that Samens is not even able to eat these days.
That's not true. And Ellen Haaland is a bad boy. Yesterday he put out a picture on Twitter where they were training and said, "We can't wait." Look, in about 5 minutes, the tweet had close to 300,000 likes. That is how much they anticipate.
Over the weekend, I saw an ad on British television where these Arsenal fans, they said, "Yeah, we're on top of the table." And then there's this man just sitting in the corner of the bar. You think so? They turn and look at him and say, "Do you know what Man City will do to you?" And the boys go quiet. Says, "They'll look at you." He said, "They look at you with the black of their eye."
I can't believe this, bro. When you watch the English channels, especially those that do the social media ones, the guys are angry about how Arsenal is behaving these days.
Look,
Charlie, you laugh.
But anyway, tonight is big.
So tonight we're doing a roadshow. It's a midweek roadshow. You don't typically do midweek roadshow. That's a big game. And it's almost like the people who set up the fixtures knew that this was going to be a big game.
Yep.
So it's a title decider, right?
Absolute cracker. Look, the two managers are doing their best to downplay the importance of the game. Arteta says, I have 5 big games after this to play, so it's not that big a deal. Guardiola says it won't define their season. Omoboa. This is a big game.
So 5 points separate the two teams.
Yes.
And then Man City have two
games in hand.
So Arsenal has to win.
Yeah. They still have their destiny in their own hands. So
that's if they win.
Exactly. So they still need to win this game. If City win both games, they go top by 1 point.
What if there's a draw?
I think Arsenal will take a draw in this game.
But if they draw, City will have 2 games with 5 points.
No, so this is one of those 2 games.
One of those 2 games.
No, it will not. 2 games in hand because Arsenal is also playing. There will still be 2 games in hand.
Yes. You're actually right. Yep.
So if they even draw, it means City has the chance to get 6 points in those 2 extra games.
And they have a superior goal difference as well.
So Arsenal has to win.
Yep.
Arsenal has to win. Well, we wish them well. That's all we can. So, but where is that happening? Where's the Road happening?
Cosmopolitan. The Cosmopolitan is at Jolu Junction. So it's at the El Beam Plaza. Really nice place.
Oh, opposite the Fiesta Royale.
Yes, exactly. Opposite Fiesta Royale. Really nice place. What happens typically is that, that's a traffic zone. So mostly people park their cars, have drinks over there, just chill out a bit, wait out the traffic before they go home.
So usually for those who live in Legon, Medina, Ashali when they're going through the N1, there's traffic either crossing the N1 or from
the other
Achimota.
side. Yeah.
So this is, if you are from Achimota, it's on your right. If you are crossing the N1 from Jowli, it's also on your right.
Yep.
I see.
Yep.
It's called the Cosmopolitan.
The Cosmopolitan. Really nice. So they have a ground floor with a projector. They have a rooftop if that's where you want to chill. They have, a lot of spaces in there. And the food is really good. That's one of the best
So
things
what
about
time
it.
are you going to be there?
6 p.m. We will be there at 6
And
p.m.
the game is when?
7 p.m.
Wow.
Yeah, so we'll be there at 6 p.m. Chit chat, have a few drinks.
But Charlie, what's
familiarize.
happening to Thomas Partey? I don't know. Like there was a game against
West Ham.
West Ham where he lost some ball.
Yeah.
Then I think the last game
the Southampton game.
he lost some ball. Even though he didn't result in a goal directly.
He's been off color in the last 2 games. That's to be honest.
Is he tired? What's wrong with him?
No, I don't think he's tired. I think it's a consequence of the whole team. But you see, it's felt even more because he's the conductor of the team. And so when his conduction is off, the whole machinery will break down. But I think that Arsenal have really missed William Saliba. I mean, the ability to defend, in a high line, recover in time, is just not the same with a guy like Rob Holding. He doesn't have...
you need a fast defender.
You need a really quick defender. To be able to do that, quickly come back when the ball is played in behind. He doesn't have the pace for that. He doesn't even have the technical know-how of
and
Saliba.
the entire season, Gabriel Magalhaes has played with Saliba. Now all of Saliba is out, he has to play with Rob Holding.
If Partey wins the EPL, he will be... How many Ghanaians have won the EPL?
One.
Just Michael Essien.
Oh, Michael Essien.
Are you kidding me?
Just Michael Essien.
Oh, the whole Ghana.
Yeah.
Since record started.
Just Michael Essien.
With Chelsea.
So it will be a very, very big...
Are you guys sure about this?
Very serious about this.
When Tony Yeboah joined Leeds United, they had already won their title in the early 90s. They didn't win again.
So no Ghanaian has won the EPL except Michael Essien.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. This is actually, if we are being honest, this is a pretty prominent period for Ghanaian players in England. This is the most prominent period for Ghanaian players. Yes.
Who else is doing well?
We have about 10 players in the Premier League, even before we talk about doing well. So there's Kamal Dean now. We can talk about Jordan Ayew. Yep. You can talk about Salisu. You can talk about
Salisu
Mate.
hasn't played in a while, though.
Yeah.
What's wrong with him?
Salisu's been battling with niggling injuries. Some knocks here and there. There was speculation that because Southampton are going down, his commitment has waned, but they've come out to debunk all of that. It's just been some injury situation. Amate was close to winning a title with Leicester, but
technically yes, he was given the medal. He joined on the other half.
So why are you both saying?
Oh no, but it's
wait.
Amate
either won a title.
Oh, you've not.
So Amate won.
Okay, Amate has won a title. Yes, that's true.
No, but you know what happens is that sometimes you need to play a certain number of games to be eligible to be given
a medal?
He does have a medal. Yes.
So Amate has won.
No, actually, we made a mistake. Jeffrey Schlupp is a title winner as well.
With Leicester City.
So Schlupp,
2-3.
Jeffrey Schlupp, Amate, and then Essien. Yes, no, that's actually true. No,
it's also because
also goes under the radar because when he won it, he hadn't declared to play for Ghana yet. So there was.
And it's also because Leicester's win was so out of the blue.
Yeah. It's very difficult to remember Schlupp.
I think most people forget Schlupp.
But I actually remember Schlupp played a prominent part in
Schlupp
that.
did.
And then
Schlupp did.
Amate in the last 5 or so games came on to do a lot of cameos
So-
because
so
they
he
needed for
He
almost
joined
all
in
the games
January,
they needed
He joined
an
in
extra
January.
body in the middle.
Yeah, he joined in January.
So Amate has
there were
won.
3. So 2 players on one team.
But Essien has won more than once.
Yes, Essien won. Essien won.
I think Essien won like 3.
2 or 3
because
times,
Chelsea under Mourinho.
When he joined, they were halfway through to winning the title in 05.
But he still won the
And
title.
then they won in 06.
Yes.
So
And
that's
then-
at
and
least
then
2.
under
And then United did a 3-peat. And then Chelsea won again. So Essien was
still
there when
Essien
they won.
has won plenty.
Yes.
Essien has won a lot.
Yeah, but for Partey to win with Arsenal after almost 2 decades, I think that would be huge. And especially since
he's one of
been
their
such a mainstay.
Yeah, he is. He's one of their most important players.
So call him and talk to him. Tell him that he should stop that.
No, but I don't think anybody.
I don't
walks onto
think
the pitch
it's
trying
him
to
alone.
play
The
back.
team is going through a certain.
No, but have you noticed that when Partey plays well, look, there was a period in Arsenal this season when Partey is in the team, they don't lose.
Yes.
And then when he was not well, they were not playing well. So I think he's probably their best player.
Yeah, probably.
Probably their best player overall, because if you look at the contributions of everybody, maybe the goalkeeper.
I mean, the win percentage with him in the team
Yeah.
is about 92%. When he's out of the team, it drops to about 75%. So, I mean, it's pretty significant.
You know, I was at a Shaiman over the weekend and I was with a friend and we saw people playing football. And I said, Charlie, the next Thomas Partey may be here.
Yeah.
Because there's this park that they play. There's a big park near the Tema roundabout as well, where they have teams playing on Sunday afternoon and things. It's a fascinating story. If he actually wins the EPL, it will be a great story.
Yeah.
Looking at where he's come from and how
he went to
understated he
Europe.
is.
Yeah.
You know, Partey is not loud. He's like Essien.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because a lot of Ghanaians compare Partey to Essien.
A lot.
You know?
A lot. But look.
But you know, the only thing is that, you know, Essien took the EPL by storm. Like, I remember those days when Essien plays for Chelsea.
Yeah. Like, Essien is responsible for half the Chelsea fans in Ghana.
Like,
if not,
like you know,
it's because of the
Essien
type
was the power in
Yes,
Chelsea.
it's because of
Partey doesn't do it the same way. Essien is like, when Essien really wants to play.
It's the type of
to be
player he
serious.
was. Yes, quite energetic.
Essien was
long distance goal, you know, that kind of thing. Partey has his own way of
He has
doing
his own
thing.
style.
So, yeah. I mean,
But I
big
think
game
he
for
should
him
be a bit
today.
more aggressive.
Big game for him
Because, you know,
today.
I'll
Big
tell
game
you,
for
I'm
him.
not like if I watch Partey and Rodri. Partey and Rodri were colleagues in Atletico Madrid. Okay. Rodri has become, in my view, one of the most important players for Man City. He takes charge of the game. He in games that they have struggled to score, Rodri will come and score, or he'll give an assist because he realized that his role as the metronome.
Yeah.
Like, but Partey is
but probably because
but you know,
he's that type.
he should clear the people and you know he should do some
I feel like I feel where you're coming
He's
from.
too, like, he's
as a
too
number 6,
relaxed.
he's too conservative sometimes, especially when you know what he can do offensively. But you know, sometimes managers are so strict with tactics that you need to sometimes just stay within your
scoring to the
stay
other
within your zone. But I get what you mean. Tonight is a big game for him because all season he's drawn comparisons from Casemiro today, like you're talking about. He'll go up against Rodri, and Rodri is considered the best DM in the league, if not top 3.
Today,
and so
Partey should put Rodri in his pocket.
Yeah.
Get a shot from the 18. One shot, tear the net. You know, then take off his shirt and say, "This is for you."
Yeah,
I'm saying. Then you come on the front page of the newspapers.
we need an I am him performance from Partey today. Big one.
You know, it's like today is the day that Charlie Partey should.
I mean, you're right. If there's any day where you need to show your prowess, it is today.
He should deal with Rodri.
Yeah.
You see, Thomas Partey's headache should not be Rodri.
He should just clear people.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a performance you do where they do today. It's like today nobody.
It was the Partey show.
Yeah.
I get what you mean. We need that kind of performance from him today, especially like I'm saying. Look, there have been big games this season, but I think this is the most important game of the season. No game this season matters more than this, and Arsenal know this. Manchester City know this. Arteta knows this, so they'll go in there prepared. They know what they need to do. But Erling Haaland is also still lurking. You know, he has plans of his own. He wants to win this Golden Boot thing. Add it to a title.
Don't mind.
But the thing is that when Manchester City are in the rearview mirror, it's
in Manchester City, you see, this is it. They have experienced all kinds of title
but they've
chases
never
before.
been. Every time they've won, they've been in front. almost every time they've won in the past 6
I
years,
agree.
somebody's been chasing them.
I
So it's
agree.
not the same as you
see,
chasing.
I agree. When Liverpool won the league,
we are 18 points ahead of them.
no, I'm talking about the season before.
They came back from
Man City hunted
behind,
Liverpool
They
down,
came from behind
and they won
took-
that
they
game
took
at the
over.
Etihad
Yeah.
to tilt the challenge.
That
So
game, there was a goal that is being.
it wasn't a goal.
Anyway, to be live on City.
It will be.
It will be. It will
FM
be. Yeah.
From 6:30.
Yeah.
So right after Eyewitness News, there'll be no point blank. We're going straight in. So you'll be there with Pichichi.
Yep.
Who else will be
Nathan, Coach, everybody will be there.
Everybody be there.
So it's a pretty big day for all of us. Big roadshow. This is our 5th roadshow of the season, and so
And probably the biggest.
Okay, let me take your prediction before you go.
Prediction.
Man City to win.
Oh, well,
but what?
Oh, you're too pragmatic.
No, I think.
So what? So Man City can't win?
You have to say it.
No problem.
You have to say it from your heart, not from your head.
No. It is not. You
are too real.
You see, there's no. You see, Bernard.
How can Man City? You have to say Arsenal will win.
No,
Man
you see,
City
today,
to win.
no, today the forces are up against Manchester City.
Charlie,
I think Arsenal will put up as big a fight as they can.
They
today.
have no choice than to fight really hard.
No, I say Arsenal.
We are
win
still.
2-1.
This is prediction, and it's a democracy.
you are saying
So I'm saying City to win.
Give us a scoreline.
City to win.
Yeah.
3-1.
Oh, Nathan. Charlie, can't collect Nathan.
No.
Wait, is it that you don't like the prediction?
Explaining me that you are
It's
predicting.
okay. It's fine. But do you know how I feel as a United fan looking at Man City and the potentially could do
Arsenal
a
have
treble?
this. Arsenal have this. I say Arsenal 2-1. Arsenal 2-1.
Oh, Nathan, go. Charlie, they go tear Arsenal 3-1. Anyway, so we'll see you at the Cosmopolitan with Benjamin Nketiah, Nathan Kwao, Pichichi. I forget his real name.
Evans Chumanso.
AKA Pichichi. And then we also have who else is there? Remind me.
Susu Graham, Gabi Ofer, Edwin Kwakofi. Everybody will be there. The whole crew will be
Adam
there.
Kai.
Wonderful. All right, so that's coming up later today. It's really the big football game for the weekend. In the meantime, Imperial General Assurance believes that your insurance experience should be memorable. When you insure with us, you have the peace of mind to focus on what matters to you, because we will be there for you when the unexpected happens. Our newly introduced travel insurance policy, the Imperial Travel, gives you total coverage for all your travels outside Ghana. Talk to us today for all your insurance needs: motor engineering, accident, marine, fire, bonds, and have that insurance experience that gives you smiles. Call us on 0302-788-955 or 0577-667-436. Or talk to your insurance broker or any of our agents across the country. You can also follow us on all our social media handles. Inspirational General Assurance, solid protection. Everybody is looking for that one thing that pushes them to bring out their best and enable them to reach peak performance. Your car wants this too. That's why your best bet is to give it Shell Helix engine oil lubricant, Munkoswahine, specially designed to bring the best out of your engine, protecting it from wear and tear while providing the power and performance needed to give you the best ride every time. So whether you're cruising on the open road or battling with busy traffic, Shell Helix will keep your engine running smoothly. Choose Shell Helix lubricant Munkoswahine for the ultimate power, performance, and protection. Visit your local Shell station today and experience the difference for yourself. And La Bianca, the leading frozen foods company in Ghana, is at it again. We're proud to add to our list of amazing brands for the first time, Akoko Tasty, locally produced bread and slaughtered chicken. Fresh frozen chicken comes freshly portioned in chicken breast, chicken thighs, chicken wings, chicken back, and gizzard. La Bianca is the sole distributor of Akoko Tasty. For your fresh quality frozen food, locate La Bianca at the Fishing Harbour Road, Tema New Town, opposite NIB. Call 0505 431 111 for more information. La Bianca, your number one frozen foods company. I'll read a few comments about the game and then I will move to Kumasi, where a police officer has been remanded over allegedly murdering his 26-year-old girlfriend called Majua. It's a really sad story. A couple of quick comments, Nathan, on the WhatsApp platform. Excitement is building.
Around
the game before we get into
people are excited. So several people.
And then Sky has some news that he wants to break.
I see.
Usually he comes with the news when he sees the signature of the president. So if you have the signature of the president and you can confirm that it's true, then I'll allow you to break the news at 8 o'clock.
Actually, I've actually confirmed.
Oh, it is true?
Yeah, that's right. It's true.
So is it her ladyship or her lordship?
Ladyship.
Her ladyship.
Justice Tokonu.
Wow.
Yeah, is going to be your new Chief Justice.
Our next Chief Justice.
If the Council of State gives their approval and
so it means
Parliament eventually endorses the same.
So the process is President nominates, Council of State approves.
Yeah, they look at it and
then
make
Parliament
the recommendation
accepts. So what do you have that tells you that is going to happen?
So this is a letter that has been issued by the President addressed to the chairperson of the Council of State.
Okay.
And briefly, it is dated the 25th April 2023. And it says that I hope this finds you in good health and spirit, because it's a little faint. And it says that the Chief Justice, Kwesi Neni-Yeboah, is due to retire from the bench on the 24th of May, 2023.
All right.
His 70th birthday.
Congratulations to him.
Yeah, in order to avoid a vacuum and ensure that a new Chief Justice is immediately in office after his retirement, I have decided to begin the process of appointment now.
All right.
Article 144, Clause 1 of the Constitution, which governs the appointment of a Chief Justice, requires that I first consult with the Council of State before seeking the approval of Parliament. Consequently, I am nominating Justice Gertrude Araba Esaba Tokonu, a member of the Supreme Court, as the new Chief Justice.
Wonderful.
I hereby enclose a copy of her curriculum vitae for your attention. I am fully satisfied that Justice Tokonu, who has been on the Supreme Court for the past 4 years and has been a member of the judiciary for the last 19 years, is duly qualified and eminently fit to discharge the functions of Chief Justice.
Justice
Araba Esaba
Tokonu.
Gertrude. Yes. I would be grateful for the Council's expeditious action on Justice Gertrude Tokonu nomination, her nomination, so that Parliament may be at liberty to consider it as early as possible during current session, such as the new Chief Justice will be ready to be sworn into office upon retirement of Chief Justice Kwesi Neni-Yeboah. Thank you in advance for your...
So what is the President asking the Council to do?
So the President will consider her nomination and then
the Council?
Yeah, the Council will provide the advice on it.
As a yes or no?
Yeah, so based on the advice, the President will forward a formal nomination to Parliament for Parliament to make a decision.
And how will Parliament decide?
So Parliament would invite memorandum or memoranda from the public, whether she's fit for the job or not. If people have any issues, they will send it to Parliament after the Speaker would have announced on the floor that this is the appointment that the intended appointment the President intends to make. Refer the matter to the Appointments Committee of Parliament during 2 weeks or maybe a week, or as the Parliament Committee would determine. They would invite these memorandum or memoranda. People will submit the same, and then they would invite the woman.
Oh, so they will do some sort of hearing, vetting type of thing.
Yeah, proper vetting.
So is that usually done in camera?
No, it will be done in public.
Wonderful.
Unless there are issues bordering on national
So maybe there may be aspects that may not.
Yeah, but we don't have a history of considering those.
So the Council of States will consider this, and it won't take them that long.
Yeah, it should.
Because the deadline is 24th May.
Yeah, 24, which is just next month.
Has the President ever nominated more than one, or usually
this is
one
the
at a time?
third person.
No, what I'm saying is that can the President say this is Justice Tokonu, this is Justice this is Justice that? Council of State, look at all three and tell me which one you want.
No.
He doesn't do it that way.
No. Normally, you would have. There's some input from the judiciary itself. So if you read the case of GBA Richard Sky and another versus the Attorney General. The Supreme Court explained what the position of the law is. So normally you would have the input from the judiciary, which is sent to the president. So they normally will give a short list. So that short list, the president will look at it and say that, okay, I think that I'm settling on this person. So you would have heard that there was a conversation around Yoni Kulendi.
That's Yoni Kulendi.
Respected jurist in our country, that he was also being considered for the job. But what ultimately has happened per this letter that I'm reading to you is that the president has made his decision, thinks that Justice Esaba Tokonu is the person to do the job.
She's been on the bench for 19 years. That is years. 2 decades of experience. So she's obviously more experienced than Yoni Kulendi on the bench.
On the bench, yes.
Yes. And so you don't foresee the Council of State saying no.
I doubt.
You do not see this. So now this parliamentary committee is the same appointments committee that vets the ministers, right?
Exactly.
So this hearing will be live on television.
Yeah, hopefully.
And what will they be looking? What will they be doing?
Well, I mean, questions will come up about, her history and decisions she's made on the bench where appropriate. If people have any concerns about her capacity to do the job, they would provide those letters to the committee to deal with them. Issues about her competence to handle the matter. Again, you have a number of controversial issues that people are calling on the bench to decide. Matters having to do with new rights that people argue, including gay rights and all of that.
So definitely all those
issues
they want to test her views on controversial matters.
Exactly. And then also you do know that there have also been concerns about the image of the judiciary itself. The opposition keeps saying that they do not intend to go back to the courts if there are issues about the upcoming elections, because they believe the court is somewhat unfriendly
so you
to
will
them.
see questions on all of this.
Yeah, hopefully, I mean, these issues
will come up. I see. But from now, you do not foresee any impediment.
I doubt it.
She'll get it.
Yeah, most
She'll
likely.
get it. Okay. So the president has nominated Her Ladyship Justice Gertrude Tokonu for the high office of Chief Justice, which is the 4th most powerful position in the country. The Council of State will consider her nomination, after which a memorandum will be forwarded to Parliament. Parliament is expected to do a hearing, after which the nomination will be confirmed by an appointment.
Parliament would then vote.
Yes.
And when a vote,
would they even vote? They could even decide by consensus. Sometimes they don't vote. Right?
Oh yeah. When
sometimes they could just say
so normally the appointments committee will make a recommendation.
Yeah.
That we think that
and they'll say
yeah. So in the other points.
I don't know.
Here.
I know.
Here.
Oh, so it's a British thing
here.
But why are we importing that? Why can't we do our own thing?
But the parliament, as we know it now, is modelled on what the British
but you
people
can't.
do.
The model is the principle, not the form.
So what should we say? What local?
You can copy the.
No. Then we should do it. Say.
Yeah. But what is here?
Hello,
What is, so it's like here.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't want to hear
No, because many of the people don't know that. They don't read the history. So when they go inside, and then I look at them.
No. We have to change the gown we wear. Like I like the way Speaker Babin, he is wearing the cloth, but he's still dispensing justice.
That's right.
He doesn't need to wear that thing.
Yes.
He doesn't need to look like a British monk. So I'm all for reform. Anyway, time for Tech and Media Trends brought to you by FBN Bank. FBN Bank puts our cherished customers first. And our financial services offer the gold standard of value and excellence. So you deserve the finer things in life, and banking is no exception. When you think of a bank that cares, think of the bank that puts the customer first and puts the B before the N. Think FBN Bank, you first. Nathan will tell us what's trending this morning.
Well, yes, and as expected, Manchester City versus Arsenal is trending. That's the game for tonight. And so, people will be looking forward to that game. Like you heard Benjamin saying, there's a roadshow happening. So join us at the Cosmopolitan from 6:30 p.m. In other trends, #CityCBS is trending. People are hopping on what we are saying.
Yes.
The name Denzel Denzel is trending as well. Now, the official trailer for the third part of Denzel Washington's movie, The Equalizer, has been released. So fans are very excited. Those who watched The Equalizer 1 and 2 are happy that there's a third part that is coming around. Sarkodie is also trending. Yesterday, so he was talking about Ghana's economic situation. He said, well, we need to do better. And people are also jumping on that thread. A few days ago, there was a video going around that purportedly had Sarkodie challenging Shatawale to a bout of boxing. We wait to see how that one will play out. Kumasi is also trending for obvious reasons. Inspector Ahmed Chumesi and related matters. We'll get into that on the show. In terms of tech news, this is quite interesting. Ukraine is saying that it is rapidly increasing its production of drones as demand grows on the front line. The Ukrainian government has relaxed import laws and scrapped taxes for drone parts and equipment. The expansion is being funded by a successful fundraiser called the Army of Drones. More than $108 million has been raised with the help of celebrity supporters like Star Wars' Mark Hamill. Now, as well as buying and building drones for the war, the money is also being spent on training new pilots for the front line.
Isn't there any adult in the world to call Putin and this guy to order and say, let's stop the fight and talk?
Yeah.
Charlie, what is our world coming to? Fighting for almost 500 days. Anyway, so that was the trend.
Yes, that's second social media trends.
One day, an old lady inherited a huge sum of money. Her family worried about how to break the good news to her. They feared that the sudden good news might give her a heart attack. And so they decided the family doctor who was experienced in delivering such news should be the one to tell her. And when he did, surprisingly, she just smiled. Relieved, he asked, "What are you going to do with all that money?" She replied, "I'm going to give you half." The doctor had a heart attack. People are often surprised when we put them first. At FBN Bank, that's what we do. We put you first. Open an account with us today and enjoy mobile banking, USSD banking, shop and pay with our prepaid Visa cards, MasterCard, and many other services designed with you in mind. FBN Bank, put you first.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
It's ShopRite's low price baby promotion, bringing you the biggest savings for a bundle of joy. Get everything you need to put a smile on their face, like 200 ml Cottons Baby Lotion for only 12 cedis, 99 pesos each, and 200 grams Lovey's Baby Fragrance Powder at just 29 cedis. Save on everything baby with our low price baby promotion. Prices valid till 7th May 2020.
Institute of Work, Employment and Society will be holding a public lecture tomorrow, the 27th of April, on the theme or the topic harnessing good work ethics for higher productivity. And of course, this is all in preparation for Workers' Day on 1st of May, but this is the UPSA's Institute for Work, Employment and Society. And guess who's the main speaker for this lecture? Her Ladyship Justice Gertrude Tokonu will be speaking at this event, which will be live on Citi TV tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. from the Justice Aite Auditorium. So everything is falling in place, right? So this is going to be a very, very much anticipated lecture she's giving. I'm sure she's already written what she's going to say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Harnessing good work ethics for higher productivity. I think it's a very important conversation to have. We discuss wages a lot in Ghana. We discuss productivity from a perspective of the tools of work. But we seldom talk about the work ethic of the Ghanaian. So a lot of times when we discuss in Ghana the fact that factor productivity is low and that the economy is not that very productive, many times it's about wages and it's also about tools, but it's never about attitudes and ethics. So I think this is an important lecture that will be given by Her Ladyship at the UPSA, for which reason Citi TV will be bringing you live coverage of the whole event.
Just if I may, can I tell you briefly about her?
Oh, why not?
Okay. She's a native of Winneba in the Central Region.
Okay.
She was born in Cape Coast on September 11, 1962.
9/11.
Yes. And she obtained her GCE ordinary level at Wesley Girls. So we gave people with
O level. But I'm sure she went to Motown for Ace.
Yeah, so she went to Motown for advanced level.
Charlie, to have both Motown and Wesley Girls.
Charlie, so the English be better. Where they carry him back some way. So, now she also know that she went to University of Ghana.
Of course.
And then later went to the Ghana School of Law.
Wonderful.
And that was in 1986.
86. So called to the bar.
Yeah.
80.
So in 2001, she obtained a postgraduate diploma in international law.
No, I'm saying if she did the Ghana School of Law in 86, it was called to the bar 86 or 87.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. And then in 2001, she obtained a postgraduate diploma in international law and organization from the International Institute of Social Studies of the Erasmus University in the Netherlands.
In Netherlands, yes.
And then further graduated with an LLM in intellectual property law from the Golden Gate University in the USA. That was in 2011.
Okay.
And then she also served as a volunteer at the FIDA Legal Aid Service.
Yeah, FIDA.
And then also
in my days at university, FIDA was such a
very powerful.
You know, if a lot of the strong women I know went through FIDA.
Exactly.
I don't know if they don't have funding or maybe they've others have come up. FIDA used to be big.
Very, very
FIDA
powerful.
FIDA was big.
Yes. All the women issues, the issues
they were
about
strong.
Gender, they were solid.
Yeah.
And the advocacy.
So she did something with FIDA?
Yeah. And in terms of her training, after she graduated from the Ghana School of Law, she did her pupillage at the Fuga & Co., which is a law firm in Accra, before she returned in 1994 to become a leading partner in that firm.
Fuga & Co.
Okay. Now, from January 1997 to 2004, she was a managing partner at Suzu Law Consult. Just by way of some other details, she became a justice at the High Court from May 2004 to October 2012.
So High Court 2004 to 2012?
Yeah. And then she was appointed to the Court of Appeal from October 2012 to 2019.
Okay.
When she was then elevated to the Supreme Court.
So how does this court thing work? You have a circuit court, you have a high court, and then from high court you have Court of Appeal, and Court of Appeal, Supreme Court. I see. But some don't even go through circuit; they go straight to high court.
Yeah, some you
straight high court.
Yeah, that's right. You can, depending on the number of years you have accumulated, because the Constitution imposes a requirement. So the Supreme Court, for instance, the president can appoint straight from the bar and make you, a member.
Depending on your years of experience.
Exactly, at least 15 years or so, if my memory serves me correctly.
I see. So Supreme Court in 20 what?
So in 2019, she was elevated to
the Supreme Court. Okay.
And then she was part of the 7-member panel of the Supreme Court
for the election petition.
The
For the election petition.
Yeah.
Wow. So now she will be the new. She will be the Is it a third female Chief Justice?
Exactly. So we had Wood.
Justice Georgina Wood.
Then we had Sophia Akufo.
Sophia Akufo.
And then there was an intervention with Enim Yeboah.
And then so it's another. So it's having a third. So the chain was broken only by one man.
Yeah, that's right.
No. There was. So we had Theodore Wood.
Mm-hmm.
Was there not Atuguba?
No.
Atuguba was not Chief Justice.
He was, the most senior most.
He was acting at the time. Okay. So Theodore Wood was substantive, and then Sophia Akufu.
And then Enim Yeboah intervened.
Enim Yeboah, and now you have Gertrude Tokono. Yeah. Wow, it's funny. I think all three went to Wesley Girls, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I have to
we need to check.
But I know that, yes, Sophia Akufo must have gone there because, when you listen to the English.
No. Don't do that. All right, Sky wants to cause mischief. That can lead him to court. He wants to draw us in. We can't defend ourselves. So don't kind of lead us into temptation.
All right, you contribute to the growth and success of the Ghanaian textile industry. Every time you wear your authentic fabrics, GTP says thank you. Always purchase original, genuine, and authentic GTP fabrics. Check that the design number on the label is also printed on the selvage. Contact 050-9940949 to buy online or visit any of our accredited dealers nationwide or any within shop. GTP Lifestyle. Now you can grab your favorite Coke to go with your meals and create a great atmosphere, and it won't cost you that much. Now for the 300 ml Coke Classic is selling at 5 cedis, and the same size 300 ml Coke Zero Fanta and Sprite are going for 4 cedis, and you can get the 1.5 Coke Classic at 20 cedis and the 1.5 liter Coke Zero Fanta and Sprite at 18 cedis to share with friends and family. Now, following the passage of the Land Act 2020, Act 1036, the Lands Commission, under the auspices of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, has initiated steps towards the preparation of legislative instruments that will provide the procedural matters needed for the implementation and enforcement of the provisions of Act 1036. So in this regard, they are telling people who want to provide input to send in all the comments and info they may have, so you can submit them to the Executive Secretary, Lands Commission, Accra. You can send a soft copy to regulations.landact@lc.gov.gh, and all of these comments and info must be submitted by April 30, 2023. And if you want clarification, send an email to regulations.landact@lc.gov.gh.
All right.
Now, you're a tertiary student or graduate. Would you like to team up with others to build an innovative agri-focused business? The KIC and the University of Ghana are calling for applications from students and graduates aged 35 or below from the Greater Accra region to join the 2023 KIC Agritech Challenge Classic Competition. It's a 7-month annual training program aimed at developing the interest and building the mindset of students and young graduates to ultimately drive systemic change in Ghana's agricultural sector. You can call 0247-578-334 or 0208-373-604 or visit kicghana.org or KIC social media pages to apply. Deadline is May 5, 2023.
And beyond Easter, there are travels and payments to make. We know this at Republic Bank. So we say, continue to make all your payments with our fantastic 4 credit cards. Enjoy great discounts from our partner merchants, cashback rewards, global concierge services, and access to over 1 million ATMs worldwide, while you stand the chance of winning a 2-day staycation at Aqua Safari and other amazing prizes in the Tap for Easter and Beyond credit card promo. Just tap to pay, live the soft life. We've got you covered. This promo is brought to you, or is regulated by the National Lottery Authority on the Caritas platform. Terms and conditions apply. Republic Bank, we're the one for you. All right, Sky, I just wanted to make a final...
Yeah, that's... So just to state, and to respond to your question, all 3 of them went to Wesley Girls. And that's very...
Is it one to Upper or just... You know, the Motowners are claiming that she's a... You see human beings. When he serves people, they say, oh, your secondary school is the one you went from 1 to 5. But when the person is nominated chief justice there, she didn't go to Motown. Yeah, she went to Wesley Girls. Yes. Your 6th form school is not your school. Since form school is a place you just visit for 2 years. So the place you graduate for O-level is your secondary school.
That's right.
So Justice Tokonu is from Wesley Girls. So Achimota people, stop it.
They should stop that.
Stop it.
Even if you watched her vetting in the last one, it was one of the more interesting vettings
for the Supreme Court itself.
For the Supreme Court itself, she made reference to the fact that she's a gay girl.
Yes. So CM Plaka and Co, please.
They should stop that.
Akpanaka behavior. She's from Wesley Girls High School.
Charlie, but Wesley, that's a good prop for Wesley Girls because all three powerful. Charlie, but it looks like Wesley Girls, Achimota, and the Presbyterian. Charlie, they are doing something.
I don't want to go there today. I don't want to. Don't lead me to temptation. Let me just stay. Let me stay in my lane.
Why?
I don't want to go there.
Why would be?
No. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there.
No. It's just.
You should go there.
No. They will start accusing us of elitism and things.
So no. I'm not even talking about the schools. I'm just focusing on Justice Tokonu.
Okay.
And when she appeared before.
Yes. Do you remember the vetting, right?
Yeah. It was one of the more interesting ones. You know, because
in terms of the length of time it took or the kind of questions she was being asked or the way
yes,
she answered
and how she carried herself and how she answered the questions. You know, prior to the vetting, there had been questions. You know, oh, is she the right kind of person? And I think she's one of those persons who left with her status
enhanced by the
vetting. This was in December.
Of 2019. 2019.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think this was 10th December.
Do you remember the most significant question she was asked?
Not really.
Because I remember the Mensa B one where she was asked a very pointed question about gay rights and she gave a very wonderful answer.
Yes.
So, but I don't remember the details of this. Maybe I need to revisit it.
Yes.
And then try and remember some of the highlights.
But I'm just saying, for those who want to, videos of that vetting are readily available online.
Yeah.
It was just 2019. So.
Yeah, wonderful. Let's turn our attention to this tragic story in Kumasi, which literally brought tears to my eyes watching yesterday in the news. And I'm going to let Edward Marfo, our bureau chief, tell the story as he did. Then I'm going to find out what else is there to know. A 26-year-old lady shot and killed by, we're not even sure if it was a lover or friend. We are not even know whether that's what it is, but here's the report.
Police Inspector Ahmed Chumesi was arrested at his hideout on Sunday, 23rd April 2023, at Setre, near Vijasi, after allegedly killing his girlfriend on Thursday, 20th April 2023. The police say their investigations show that the inspector, Ahmed Chumesi, allegedly used his service rifle in committing the heinous crime. He has thus been provisionally charged with murder. During the first court proceedings at Asukariman District Court on Thursday, April 25, 2023, the prosecution said that investigations have also established that a police officer wanted the deceased to refund an amount of 5,000 Ghana cedis owed him. Following her failure to refund the money, the officer then decided to shoot her, which led to her death. Speaking in court, the head of legal and prosecutions in the Ashanti region, ACP Kofi Blagoji, described the act by the police inspector as barbaric. He noted that the police administration is saddened by the development, and as such, they will do whatever they can to ensure justice is served. The police said they are particularly worried about the action of the accused since he has served for a long time in the police service. The accused, Inspector Ahmed Chumesi, who was not represented by any lawyer in court, tried throughout the court proceedings. Although his plea was not taken, the suspect told the court it was not his intention to kill his lover. The prosecutor, ACP Kofi Blagoji, was however unable to confirm if the police administration has so far come up with any form of sanctions against the police officer. It was an emotional moment for family members of the deceased who were in court.
You can't kill somebody just because of 5,000 Ghana cedis. For what? For what? What happened? You don't catch and say Odofo. You have a density and mind didn't say Odofo. Odofo no why? One hour Odofo. Odofo do to me Kumo be 50 million. Ah, blah, wouldn't be a bit.
Not me nim the entire Okuno.
Atanana mahun se meba ko to na hu se one no masam se 50 million wan fa ni sika mana wa kuna to atwene na masa mesi sinimu kila kra ye boni tu e boni tu onsia kila mpo a wati boni a yekuno ye boni ni tu nko onsia just 5,000 cedis wo komnipa it is so almost 30th next month 30th ya de ne baba ye de ye nim se mla be ye adwuma ye ntimi fa mla nhye ensem e de ye pe na minim se dan pare de wa ye na adwuma wie de ne ye pe no wa che na ma ye aka court
senior court case ne cause send am ho no na say no you must want to mean kasa assurances na police for name ma say o mo be hwe say bibia be koso ye no be di asem na chi no hu ne say wuji
ye say ya na akwade a me hu ne ye pa say ya na akwade a e be ko say ama hede a me ni problem because o mo ko ma ne nkasa o ma ya de o ma ya de pa say ya na akwade a papa makoma to me ya se be ko say ya ma me de a me nim say enche nyame e be kasa.
The police had to call for reinforcement after some family members of the deceased attempted to attack the accused. The police eventually used another route and were able to take the suspect out of the court premises.
The family members are very much worried. Some of them are even trying to rain insults on the accused person who is within the court premises. And so we can hear in the background, some of them are basically just trying to wait and just see the suspect. Some of them are saying that they want to engage him to really find out what went into his mind to allegedly commit the act. And so it's an emotional moment. Many of the family members, friends, and other sympathizers who have come here to the court premises are in a state of mourning. They can't control themselves and are basically just weeping. The police officers are trying to take the suspect out of court at the moment, and so they have actually found a way. They took the back door, and now the suspect has been taken out. And in fact, many of the family members were trying to get hold of him, but because of the police team that came, they used the back door, and some people are still trying to chase the police vehicle that is going. And so that's it here, quite a charged atmosphere here at the Askari District Court.
The matter has been adjourned to 30th May 2023. For Citi News, I'm Edward Upon Marful, Askari District Court, Ashanti Region.
8:31. That was Edward Upon Marful's report. He is our bureau chief for the Middle Belt is on the line. Edward, thank you so much for joining us, and great job yesterday. You were in the thick of things. How big a story is this Majua killing in Kumasi?
Well, this issue has grabbed the attention of many people in Kumasi, and considering where it happened at the Dum, which is the center of Kumasi, and even where the incident happened, it happened that's between 9 and 10 p.m. That's according to the eyewitnesses, and that's on Thursday. And so some people claim they were even passing by at the time. So it appears it didn't even happen in secret because there were people who were around at the time. And that's what makes it a bit shocking. And what we have gathered so far is that this young lady who has passed away, and that's Victoria Dapa, also known as Majua, she is 26 years old. She has one child, and the child is somewhere around 2.5 years. That's according to the family. All we know is that the father of the baby is not in the country at the moment, and the family members have not been able to confirm if she's still in a relationship with the father of the baby. But what has been confirmed by the family members and also the police is that Majua has been in a relationship with the police officer for some time now. And so those in the family house actually know of the police officer. He has been coming around to see Majua, and they have been engaging him as well. It appears their trouble started some months ago. And that's where, according to the family, Adwa was calling for a breakup, which the police officer didn't want to agree to. And so an aunt of Majwa told me that even just less than a month ago, this police officer, as a result of the altercations that they were having, she came to the house and they had some kind of misunderstanding, even to the extent that the deceased was in the washroom. She pulled the deceased out of the washroom and still insisting that he wants to marry her. And the deceased was saying that according to the family, the deceased was saying that the police officer is already married with kids, and so she's not going to be in that relationship. And so it's something that kept going on back and forth. And so that has been the situation for the past few months. And so even on that Thursday night, and even before the Thursday, what we're told is that the deceased, Victoria Dapa, decided not to answer the calls from the police officer again. And so on that fateful day, the officer called many times, she didn't answer. And so the officer then involved a mutual friend who then called the deceased to come around, and it's just a few meters away from the house. And so and also this has been confirmed by the police, and it's on the charge sheet. And so according to the prosecutors, when the deceased got to the area, that was where she realized that the police officer was there with her friend, and that she wouldn't have actually agreed to come out there and meet her friend if she knew that the police officer was there. So it appears the relationship was actually falling on rocks just around that time. And so they were trying to reconcile, it was not working. And in the process, that's according to the police, because the relationship is actually breaking down, the officer then told her to refund an amount of 5,000 Ghana cedis. And for this, it's not clear as to whether it's an amount that he lent to her, or is just because the amount that he feels he has invested in her. That has not been clarified. But the central issue is that the police officer demanded for a refund, which the lady insisted, as according to the police, the lady insisted that she was not going to pay. And so it was basically as a result of the reconciling, not that's the fact that they are trying to reconcile, the lady is not ready to get back in the relationship with him, and the fact that she's also not ready to pay the amount that the officer was requesting her to pay, and then it got heated. And so in the heated moment, the police officer had a service rifle with him at the time. And so that was what he used. And so some of the eyewitnesses have been telling us that they had about 6 gunshots, that the multiple gunshots were 6 times. And the police have confirmed that they were within the chest and the abdomen area. She was sent to the Kofoanoji Teaching Hospital, but did not survive. And so that's how the whole matter
So this happened in the evening at Edum. So is it that they live, or Majwa lived in the Edum enclave?
Yes. She lived at Edum. And the house is just around 150 to 200 meters away from where the incident happened. So their family house, that's where Majwa was. And so she had to move out. Her brother was even telling me that looking at the time that she was going out, he prevented her from going out at that time, but she insisted that she was going to meet a friend.
Right. From what you gather, apart from the mutual friend, were there other eyewitnesses? So this story you are narrating, is it the so-called mutual friend who invited Josephine who's narrating this, or there were other people who saw the incident?
What we understand is that the police have interrogated the mutual friend. And so the account of the mutual friend is what the police have used. But some other eyewitnesses that we have engaged have also confirmed that they saw them as the police officer and the deceased and the mutual friend all having that conversation around that time. And even with the CCTV footages that we've seen so far, we could see that there were people who were walking around at the time. And so that's also, and looking at the Adum area, it's a very busy area irrespective of the time. And so that time it was not as if they were even as an isolated area and people were not passing by. So many people who have corroborated that claim that indeed they saw them around that time, and once they heard the gunshots, some decided to move away from the area.
So I noticed you spoke to a gentleman and a lady. Are they the siblings of Josephine? Are they just friends? Who are the people you spoke to in the report?
Those are some of the extended family members who are all around the same area. But we've been engaging the mother, we've been engaging the direct brothers and all that, and they've also been making similar claims. In fact, they were at the court. We tried engaging some of them, but they, because of how emotional they were even unable to grant the interviews at the time. But for the family members in general, some of them still cannot come to terms with what has happened, and they are just a bit worried about everything that's going on.
What is the posture of the police in this? You said that the account we have is from the police. The police are the ones who arrested the culprit or the suspect. What sense do you get when you go to court, listen to the prosecution and is this a police prosecutor, by the way, who's dealing with the matter?
Yes, so this is a police prosecutor, and he is the head of legal and prosecutions in the Ashanti region, ACP Kofi Blagoji. And so even in his presentation in court, he was very passionate, and he made a point that the IGP is appalled by what has happened, and the entire police administration is really sad about the entire incident, and that they are going to do everything possible. He even stressed that they are worried because this is a police officer who has risen through the rank, and it's not as if he's just a new recruit and does not even know the laws, and he doesn't even know the repercussions of his actions. He is an inspector, and having committed such an act, and also having admitted to them that indeed he committed such an act, is something that is very surprising to the entire police administration. And so he was stressing in court that they are going to do whatever it takes to ensure that justice is served. That's anything that they have to do as a police. They are not going to shield the officer. They will conduct the investigations very well to come out with all facts that will help in the prosecution as far as this matter is concerned. But in court, this officer was not represented by any counsel. He came around, and as the case was going on, the magistrate then posed a question to him, and that although the plea is not going to be taken formally, but if there's something he wants to say, he's at liberty to do so. And so he indicated that, well, he admits that he committed the act, but the intention was not to kill someone he considers as the lover. And he stressed that he is in love with the deceased, as he has been in love with the deceased for a very long time. And so it wasn't the intention just to kill her, just that it has happened and that it is between himself and God. That was a statement he made as he was crying throughout the whole court proceeding.
Finally, when you were ending your report, I noticed that you said the police had to take the suspect out through a different route because there was a lot of anger in the court. I mean, what's your sense? Did you sense that if people actually saw him, they would have harmed him physically?
In fact, some people were even saying it openly, that they were seeking to harm him. And some of the people were demanding that they allow the police to bring him towards that direction, the main entrance, where they will have access to him and then try to attack him. And so during that period, the police had to call it for reinforcement. So a group came in again and they tried to maintain calm. But at that time, there was total drama in court. The people actually didn't want to agree. There were some who were crying, who were rolling on the floor. But there were some, especially the men, who even some were willing to engage the police, and they were saying that they still want to have access to the person and attack him. And so that's the accused. They wanted to attack the accused. And so in that process, where the police were trying to calm the people down and also trying to control those people who were very much angry, we realized that the police had taken the accused person through the back door in a different vehicle where they moved out of the court premises.
All right. My final question, I heard one of the family members say to you that they were also living in some sort of fear because they felt I wasn't really understanding. Is it that they felt there could be some reprisal or that some people were going to harm them? Because I don't know if I heard right. One of the family members was complaining that they needed or was appealing to the police to provide them protection. Can you explain what that whole thing was about?
Yes, so then shortly after the police officer was arrested, the family members, so that's where the incident happened is just around their family house. That's where the extended family and all the other family members live. And around that area, just a few meters, that's where the incident happened. And so the night, on that Sunday night, according to the family, there were some unidentified men who were coming to the area. And once they see an adult, coming closer to them, and they try to move away or try to hide in the dark. And then they were trying to call some of the people to kind of engage them, want to pull them into the dark where people could not really see what was going on. And so they said it created some kind of fear around that time. And some of the people that I spoke to said that they have to even abandon their homes because they were afraid. Even the grandmother of the deceased was even telling me that at a point, although she couldn't find it difficult walking, she had to run away because they were actually afraid that the people could harm them. And so what they are calling for is some kind of police protection. They want the police to at least even patrol the area so that a similar action does not happen. Because they fear that the people may be linked to the accused person and possibly they may have other intentions to hurt them. And so they are calling for some kind of police protection.
Thank you so much, Edward, for your report and keep up the good work. Edward Opomafo is our bureau chief for the Middle Belt in the thick of things in Ashanti. Guys, quick comments on this. I am so I don't know whether it was the manner in which the story was done, but I felt really sad, and it appears to me as though this will not be like. Okay, when I say it's an isolated case, what I'm trying to say is that people with weapons who are in relationships with other people sometimes tend to use the power. Because if you listen to the whole narration, this is clearly an abusive relationship. And the lady wanted out, and obviously the guy wasn't having any of it. So it's... And I got a lot of people on social media saying justice for Major because they feel like because a police officer, they may try and cover it up. So I look like the police's quick arrest and quick prosecution is in response. They don't want to create any doubt about their decisiveness on dealing with this as a pure criminal matter.
Yeah.
Because in times past when police have been involved in certain things, somehow it becomes a foolish case or they just delay. So this, and the way the court case was described yesterday, it tells you that the police is not going to treat this as one of their own, which is encouraging.
And the fact that the suspect had been on the run for some time, the police took
They found him.
They found him. Even though he was still one of their own, and the general perception is that normally they differ when it comes to some of these things.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to our bureau chief, Edward, describe, if you've lived in Kumasi before, you will understand how they will consume a story like this and why it might make more headlines than other stories that normally.
So many of the radio stations Kumasi will be talking about this in the morning.
About this this morning, the news bulletins would talk about this. Okay, it's very communal in that regard.
So a lot of people have a connection to the story.
Exactly.
They don't know her.
It's a different sort of how they engage with these kinds of situations are a bit different from how we might engage with it here.
So there's a strong feeling of community in Kumasi.
Yeah,
so a lot of people,
some people may know her
connected.
personally.
Yes. And then also, if you look at crime reporting in Ghana and the numbers, you would realize that there's a lot of violence against women in the Ashanti region. If we remember, there was a time ago we were discussing crime, and I was trying to draw a pattern for you of women who had been killed. Most of the cases were happening in the Ashanti region.
I remember. Yes.
Women being attacked Maxima
and
and other places.
That's what I'm saying. It will resonate because these are occurrences that are around them on the daily. And then, of course, the fact that the major actor is
And it's not a new police recruit. This is like a proper inspector. So it's like it's a correct police guy. So it's not a small boy.
Who's a member of the SWAT team, that's the Special Weapons and Tactics Unit of the Regional Police Force. And obviously somebody who sounds quite popular from the reports that are coming. He's nicknamed Tycoon. For whatever reason. Only they would know. You know, so
we expect this one to be treated with dispatch. From everything that we are seeing with the court and everything.
Well, at least the initial stages does indicate.
It looks like it's pretty. From a law perspective, I don't know if you listen to the submission.
Here, so he can tell.
So let me just caution, because I mean from the report it would seem that when he was brought before the magistrate, I think the suggestion is that he didn't have a lawyer. Normally, the state will provide one when the process starts properly. But what it is that she would have to be properly indicted.
So this is preliminary. What they did yesterday.
Yeah, these are preliminary issues.
Okay.
She would have to be indicted to stand trial, and then when that trial commences, of course,
you will have to have a lawyer.
Yeah, that's right. It is a must. And then also we hope that in all the processes, the interviews done by the police, as in his interrogation after his arrest, lawyers were there to provide the necessary assistance. Because I mean, from what has been suggested, it means that there may well be something with his mind that
No, but let me ask you a question. So if you are a lawyer who the Attorney General asks you to go and defend this guy,
I'm coming. The Attorney General. So if we have
who will recommend, because if
the court, if he doesn't have one, the court is another obligation.
Right. I'm asking because the way the story has been put out, he's almost like he's guilty before. Do you understand? Everybody's like he's killed the girl, whatever. So if you're a lawyer and they say you should go and defend this guy, and you say you won't do it, is it
so there's something known as the cab rank rule.
The what?
Cab rank. Basically a taxi rank rule. It normally applies in the UK, but there are elements of it here in Ghana. So that if you stop a taxi or you go to the taxi rank, the taxi that is there, you say the taxi to take you to Buckingham,
he has to go.
He has to go because that is what you do. You can't say that.
So if you look on the list and Rich's guy is the next lawyer,
you have to.
Go ahead.
Unless there is a conflict matter or
your leg is paining you.
that you can. You have to actually, because you see that is what lawyers do, and people insult lawyers for it.
Yeah.
The lawyer's job is to defend someone who is being tried for A, B, or C, and once there are no issues about the person's capacity or competence to represent properly, so called, the person goes.
So in this case, if you're a lawyer, and sorry, I'm moving into the case. I just hypothetical knowledge. So if you're a lawyer and you are given this case, which seems so overwhelmingly stacked against you, is it the lawyer who will tell the guy what to plea, or the guy will tell the lawyer that this is my plea? How do lawyers and their clients come to a conclusion of whether to plead guilty or not guilty?
So the lawyer in conference with the client would listen to the client as to what exactly happened. Based on the facts supplied by the client, would give the client that these are the options on the table.
Okay.
Now, based on what you have told me, it would seem that you have a case that we can defend.
Okay.
Or that defending this case will be difficult. Now, it is your decision as the client to decide whether you are guilty or not guilty. And he will also explain to you that if the facts prove that or show or give him the indication that you are likely to be found guilty, he will tell you, look, if you plead guilty on the basis of the facts as we know them now, the courts are likely to look at this and say that will reduce the number of years that you are likely to serve. So take all of those into consideration, but the client makes the ultimate decision that, look, this is what I want to plead, and he goes with that.
I see. And of course, so it's possible that a client may say, I didn't do it, but the lawyer would want to know if there's evidence. So a lot of this is not just your narration, but they will think about how the case will go to inform whether this path will work or that path will not work. I see.
So when he goes to court, and then the client, the accused person will be asked to plead, and then he will say guilty. Or
will he? Okay, this guy is different from somebody who qualifies for legal aid. This guy is an inspector, so he's not some person who can afford a lawyer.
Yeah, but again, if the facts show that he is not in a position to afford one,
they will still give him one.
Intervene, or the court would have one represent him.
Mm.
It's a really tragic story. But from what he said, I think there's an indication he's suggesting that he actually did it, but he did not intend to kill. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but did what? But you know, we went. Edward said that they asked him to make a preliminary statement, and it's like mansheda. As in, it didn't, as if I intended to go and kill the girl.
Yeah.
All right. But I'm not even sure whether that's even part of the full trial yet, or that's just some preliminary.
Oh yeah, these are preliminary issues. But the question is whether a judge or a trial of fact or a court properly directed will come to the conclusion that what he did there was reasonable.
Another final legal question. So usually I'm told that when the police want to take a statement from you, it's I don't know, it's advisable or imperative that you should do it in presence of a lawyer. So if they claim he doesn't have a lawyer, how are they able to take a statement for which they are using as the basis for the charge?
This is why I was raising the concerns I raised initially. Because when a person is arrested, the law is that you should explain to the person the basis for the arrest. That is why the US people will say, Miranda-rize the person.
Okay.
You have a right to remain silent and all the things that they recite. If you look at our laws, there's a long thing that you have to read but you can shorten it. So that explains to the person that this is why you are being arrested and that you have a right to remain silent, because anything that you say
can be used against you.
So
if he doesn't have a lawyer, can he say, I'm waiting for my lawyer before I talk?
Yeah, that's right, because the Constitution says that you have a right to representation. So you can go to the police station and tell them that, Mr. Whatever, I'm entitled to a lawyer. Unless Bernard Avle comes to represent me, I'm not saying anything. So they are under obligation to ensure that a person of his choice who he wants to come and represent him comes to sit in that meeting for this thing to come.
I don't know whether you watch this. For me, when I watched the story, I was really moved by the emotion that was being shown and the anger. And Edward is trying to explain the context of what happened. You know a bit about Kumasi as well. What are your thoughts? This tragedy that has happened is surprising.
Tragic, it's sad, and I'm not looking at it from the legal part. I'm just looking as a media man. I don't even understand how somebody will go to court and say mansheda when it happened 5 times.
What do you mean?
You shoot somebody 5 times.
It was 5 shots.
Yes.
Oh.
You pull the trigger 5 times and come and say mansheda.
And what kind of gun was it? Pistol.
Yeah, his sidearm.
Yeah. So
5 times.
If you do it 5 times and one shedder, then what's Sky is saying that something must be wrong with your mind.
Yeah.
You get me? And what will let anybody leave their home, take a pistol, go to somebody, let's assume somebody you have a problem with, and shoot her 5 times and then expect that you will live and enjoy life?
It's not going to happen.
You want to live and enjoy life, then you go and shoot somebody.
And she has a 2.5-year-old child.
Even if he's mad, they should still jail him.
So you've made your mind already quick.
Oh, of course.
Oh, see, that is the
no. Even if his mental cry for go jail,
and that's the position.
I bet it's different. And so one time,
it's really sad. It's really sad.
Have you seen a madman crossing road when you see car go join the car? Did they run away? Some Bodamenity, when they Bodamenity, no, the man knows what he's doing.
So you are indicting him.
Oh.
You see, there are times that you have momentary, mental challenge. Sure. In law, there are a number of defenses.
That's why I'm not a lawyer, but I'll challenge you to this. That momentary mental challenge cannot occupy a space of 5 times shooting.
Yeah, but the question is, what was the duration? You see,
I'm even told now now being told by another lawyer that he buried his mom 2 months ago and has since hasn't been himself.
So you see,
yes, you have not been yourself. The way of expressing you're not being yourself as a result of burying your mom is to go and kill somebody's daughter.
Never. But these are matters of expertise and competence to be determined by.
So they can even bring a psychiatrist
that's right.
Examine,
evaluate, You know,
that's the criminal jurisprudence we've chosen. So we have to go through the process.
I'm not discounting that.
He's just
saying
speaking
that
as a media man.
There's a wrong one.
They prove that the man is mad, they should jail him. I bet it take them so one time.
So in those cases, when the court takes the
room for what when the
court takes the when the court
that's what
takes
he's saying. Bodam Enitie.
No, but what is Bodam Enitie?
You don't know Bernard Avle. Please, listeners, please explain Bernard Avle.
When you know exactly what you're doing, but you claim you are not.
You are feigning madness.
But how can the Bodam have any?
That's what we.
Somebody did this up to me last week. The guy, after I got out of the car, I realized this guy is holding a belt with metal spikes on it, and he's just lashing cars in traffic. So this guy gets to my car and just whacks my car in the window. I come off on it. I say, Massa. Boots.
So he's hiding under the guise of madness
just to fool it out.
Doing all kinds of things.
Just to deal with what someone.
No, by the way, in your practice, if we're in the US, would you have been a defense lawyer, prosecution lawyer? The way you are talking, you seem like you'd be a very good defense lawyer. Because you
take it on a case by case.
You always look at the other side, and you always you don't take things at the face value, and you're always like you don't. If you know you
like you.
Sky doesn't take anything on face value.
No, there's always.
So maybe you have a career in defense law. Because I hear they also make more money than prosecution lawyers.
Well, it depends on crime generally. It's not rewarding if you produce somebody murder or somebody is going to take banshee and all of that. You won't get so much from it.
No, but they're high level.
But they're high level litigation, which you can get.
But that's beside the point. But you're saying that irrespective of the fact that the media has tried him and proven him guilty, and the public's emotion. The reason we have a legal system is to allow the process to be gone through.
Exactly.
Because it's a scientific process. If we assume that we all think he's guilty, and then we railroad the process, we are doing a disservice to the legal system, because another case may come up which may seem obvious, but if we don't go through the process, the person may not be. So I think you need to explain that, because a lot of people feel the court process is a delay, it slows things down, it takes away the momentum, and then the interest in the cases die, right? But how do you lawyers explain that the wheels of justice grind slowly?
Yeah, so you see, someone wiser than me once said that justice delayed is justice denied. But also, someone again said that no matter how long it takes, justice, the wheel of justice, ultimately arrive at their destination. So, the process may be slow, but it is a time-tested process that we use to determine whether a person is guilty or not guilty. So the danger in putting the guy on trial on radio is that because there's a likelihood there may be a jury trying him, if you're not careful, you are going to poison the atmosphere.
Yeah.
So the people, the Ghanaians who are his peers, will be called to decide his fate in a court of law, maybe arriving in court with a decided mind already that this guy is guilty because people have said all kinds of things on radio. And then also in Ghana, you heard recently that we were not paying jurors their money. And so they were hungry and all kinds of things. And we don't have the capacity to put the jurors together in a room. They call it sequestration, I've forgotten the term. So you keep them somewhere, away from all these noises and trials that are done on radio. So if we are making pronouncements regarding this fact, yes, we can report the fact, but statements that tend to lead people to conclude that he's already guilty, I think we should avoid.
Do we know if this one will
Sky,
have jury?
Sky, you see, we have moved past this era because of social media. It may not have been said on traditional media.
Justice for Madra trending.
But you are checking out on social media and everything is there blatantly. Point is, in other parts of the world, the juror system is more structured and well funded. We are still lagging in that sense. But this one is open to cultural elements in the way people express their anger. This is Kumasi. Kumasi, we say Mokosani and Mokosanini. You understand that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's what he was saying. That
in Kumasi,
everybody feels like
if the fact that he doesn't know you doesn't mean he can't chat with you.
Yeah.
everybody sees some, they start chatting. That's how Kumasi is.
Yeah.
So if this thing befalls a family, they will own the problem as their own.
Yeah.
And
You
they
can
will
imagine the 1 week, the number of people who will go there.
I'm telling you.
Everybody will go.
You will see the number of people who will show up, and that's Kumasi.
Yeah.
So the law should take its course,
Mhm.
but people should be allowed to express
Mm-hmm.
their anger at this thing. Because you see, today it's happened in Edum. Tomorrow it may be at Tonsu. Tomorrow, the next day it may be at Hensai. So we should register our anger at this thing in the worst possible form.
Especially because people feel, because there's a police inspector involved. If look, most poor people, when they have a case against somebody who is powerful, they know they stand no
But Bernard,
chance.
there's no ambiguity.
No, I'm coming. So
about this
I'm saying, that's what I'm saying, that
particular
sometimes the media coverage is what even balances the
Balances
power.
out, yeah.
Because a lot of times officialdom can sort of wipe things, and as you said,
At times,
a lot of this things happens in the rural areas and
At
it doesn't
times-
even come up.
At times, maybe not even wipe, but may not be motivated, or they are just
Yes.
disinterested.
So maybe like a family in a rural community where a police person has an altercation with their girlfriend and they shoot the person. If it doesn't come into the media, they may not even be interested to even
Exactly.
take
These
it
things
up.
happen.
Yeah.
They happen. People go and use kafugbe. Some
To shoot their partners. Yeah.
Papatu. Yeah, aka kafugbe. They go shoot their partners in some remote village.
You hear about it 3 weeks later.
Yes, but today, because of social media
Yeah.
and the likes, these things are quick, with speed to come to light.
Yeah.
And that's a good sign.
So the media role is important, but we should be guided in not doing a media trial. The word you're looking for is sequestration.
Yes, sequestration.
So that means it's like isolate.
Yeah,
yourself.
so shield them away from all the what I would consider noise.
But do we have a lot of jury trials in Ghana?
Yeah, I mean, matters like this, these are serious matters that the jury would have to deal with, ideally, unless there's a compelling reason why they should discard the jury altogether to deal with the matter by a judge or something like that.
Yeah.
And then also, there is also the need for us to highlight issues of, psychologists in public institutions and also private institutions. Because, Bernard, the fact is, many people walking around have issues. And these are
especially in relationships.
And things that they would want to talk about, but they cannot talk about because you talk to your friend about it.
Yeah.
The next thing he's talking about.
And
is
the other
someone.
problem is the Dofsu angle, where usually, and I hope now the new Dofsu is doing much better, because in the past, you would have people go report domestic violence, and then the police say, like they will basically just dismiss the report. So I think that the people at Dofsu now, the lady who's heading it, they are very sensitive to those things. Because in the past, a lot of people didn't want to go to the police station to report anything. Because the society's view is that, if your husband says he wants banku, give him banku, and what's your problem? Why are you arguing with him?
And also just a wrap up, there was a time back we were doing some work, Justice Tankabe, and maybe it has improved, but the people in our services, they need to get regular psych checks.
Yeah.
They should be oriented to let them know that does not mean that there's something wrong with you. But their job is very stressful.
Yeah.
They are always high strung.
Yes.
They see a lot of trauma.
Yes.
And regular human beings cannot cope with those things without finding an outlet.
Yeah.
So our security services and co should employ more of such persons and orient their servicemen not to look at it as if you go here you are weak, or we will sack you or something. Because I recall Fred and I were doing some work for Jabba not here, and at a time there was only one psychologist also in the police service operating in one of the regions also. At the time, just one. How many persons can that person see? So some of these things have to be mandated, because when you put a gun in the hands of somebody, you have to
who's already stressed.
You have to make sure that the person is constant. You have to constantly check up on the person. Okay, so maybe they can also expand that part of what they do, and not let the officers think that if you go for these psych checks and things, there's something wrong with you. It should be part of it. They see too much trauma and they are too stressed.
7 minutes past the hour of 9. Just a few quick comments whilst we're at it. We have two important interviews coming up later on. I'll be speaking to the officials from GRA as we talk about Tax and Good Governance Month. Where's this baby? So we're talking about Tax and Good Governance Month. We're talking about electronic filing of annual returns and collaboration with MMDAs in collection of property rates. All right, so that's one thing we'll be doing. Before that, we also talk about the Orange Week. The Dutch Embassy in Ghana is celebrating Orange Week. I just wanted to do two quick plugs. So we're talking about Justice Tokonu, and she's the third straight Wesley Girls Chief Justice. Well, somebody from Addis Ababa said, hey, Aloski, which we have produced 3 Chief Justices. So it's for the public, so don't go there. Justice Acha, Justice Redu, and Justice Aqua.
Thank you.
All went to
Disco.
And this came from Ninja. So yeah, Ninja.
The contest that this has come from there.
So it means that
where the tea has come from, there we have to keep quiet.
No, but you know, Accra has produced the most speakers of parliament. Accra has a lot of speakers of parliament. That's their own. And I think, and Adisco is the Chief Justice, and the Wesley Girls as well.
Wesley Girls,
the president will have a song from Matibota.
And Motown there is. We don't want to even go there. All right, but I need to ask you a question though. So, where are you going to watch the match today?
Oh, I'll watch it.
Will he watch the match?
Oh, he will.
He'll watch it.
Will he watch
We will
the
force
match?
him to watch it.
We hear you.
I want to tie him into a chair.
We will tie him into a chair.
Open his eyes.
No, I will watch it.
You watch it?
I would.
Have you?
No, so what I know is that I'll be driving in town,
Listening to radio.
Listen to radio small. But the thing is that when you are there, my son will be sending me messages.
And I'll tell you something. High pressure games are not good for your heart.
No.
So actually, it's better to maybe go on an app and just look at the scores. Because when I'm listening to radio commentary in a game that I'm emotional about, it's not good at all.
I won't watch it.
You know, the guy said, "Oh, Liverpool!"
But these are trying times for Zabezo. Arsenal. Accra has a fool.
Today we have a match. Phobia, we have a match today too.
So,
and Accra folk is at 3 o'clock. At 7 o'clock, Arsenal will follow.
Double whammy, Charlie.
Charlie, we need to bring in a cardiologist.
But I want to just say though that
I won't watch.
Since 2004, I think when the Vieira team won the league, Arsenal hasn't won the league before. So it's been almost 20-year wait.
Yeah, but we will be winning the FA Cup.
No, but how big is it for us now? Well, let me reframe the question. Will the fact that they haven't won it in 20 years motivate the players?
No, it is very big, but if Arsenal as a team does not win, I don't think it will break them apart. Truth is that they didn't set out
to be in this position from the beginning of the season
to win the league this season.
Oh, really?
Oh, of course. I mean, we know how teams prepare when they really want to win the leagues. If what has happened in the last 10 years, anything to go by, go for it, correct me if I'm wrong. Chelsea should have been where Arsenal is by now, given how much preparation.
Charlie, why are you drawing? Why are you drawing?
I mean, you don't spend. Is it $500 million?
No, Sky says stay in your lane. He's not interested in that. Chelsea.
You don't spend $500 million
and be
11th. I mean, nobody prepares for that. And I'm just saying that. No, but I'm serious.
No, you're right.
Arsenal wanted to be the first motivation was to qualify for Champions League. And then the extra benefit after Christmas, they noticed that Charlie.
Are you managing expectations?
No, it's not like what I'm saying here will change anything. But you asked me the question, and I'm just saying that.
But let me ask you: if Arsenal win, how big will it be for the?
If Arsenal wins, it's a good story for the English Premier League.
Okay,
it's
not just the supporters of Arsenal.
Well, I mean, you see, supporters of Arsenal in the UK, they are happy people.
They don't care about whether
they are happy. They are just happy
whether they win the league or not.
If they don't win the league, they are still happy.
Okay.
Now, supporters globally, there's some pride
bragging
in
right
winning the thing. So I can understand. Bernard, see what will happen in England if Arsenal should win the league.
Which is
I'll say
what we are all
only
hoping
3
for.
teams know how to celebrate.
Who?
Liverpool.
Thank you.
Manchester United and Arsenal.
The rest all be.
The rest, they do sell meetings with a win. Sell group meeting.
You are provoked.
As if nothing happened.
Sky says, I will not be provoked.
If Arsenal should win this thing, Bernard, me and you will go to
we'll party hard.
We'll go to London.
Wow.
We'll party with the Liverpool.
Wow, wonderful times. 12 minutes past 9, Citi Breakfast Show. I'm going to be moving straight into an interview shortly where, to mark the King's Day, which is the National Day on the 27th of April, the Netherlands Embassy in Ghana is organizing an Orange Week from 24th to 28th April, which includes a series of events which highlight the Dutch culture through music and arts, and also celebrates its dynamic relationship with Ghana. I was speaking to the ambassador in a few moments, His Excellency Jeroen. Hey, Nathan, help me here. Jeroen Verheul. It's pronounced Jeroen Verheul. So this is it. It's spelled Jeroen, right? But it's pronounced Jeroen. So Verheu are pronounced Jeroen, and then the surname Verheul is pronounced Verheul. Verheul. So the V is F and the J is Y. We'll be right back with that. Stay with us.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Kofi, Kwame, you know, I know, Ajua knows. Even Brima said it yesterday that millions of Ghanaians are taking the COVID-19 vaccines, and they all say it is the right thing to do. It is safe, so take your ID and go to the nearest health facility or any COVID-19 vaccination center to get the jab. It will protect you from being knocked down by the disease or even going on admission. Protect yourself and protect your family. If you had the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, then you can go for the booster shot after your first dose. The vaccines are there, they are safe, and they are free. Protect yourself, protect your family, protect your community. The COVID-19 vaccine reduces the severity of the disease and prevents hospitalization.
This message is brought to you by Ghana Health Service, Good Life, Live It Well, USAID, and partners.
Bet365 is now officially available in Ghana. My G, if you love sports, there's no better way to get a piece of the action. Build your own personalized bet with Bet Builder and select from popular markets on the biggest sports. You fit make multiple selections within a single match. For example, in football, you can choose first goal scorer and both teams to score to create your bet. Charlie, visit the official site at bet365.com.gh. Over 18s only. Terms and conditions apply. Please gamble responsibly.
Anytime is a good time to have a break. Introducing Munchie Anytime Crackers. It's perfect for break times, party times, movie times, and snack times. Savor the moment. Enjoy Munchie Anytime Crackers anytime. Munchie Anytime Crackers. It's light and tasty.
This outfit is FDA approved.
Each year, 18,000 children are born in Ghana with sickle cell disease, and 1 in 3 Ghanaians have the sickle cell trait. Many discover their sickle cell genotype only after the birth of a precious child with the condition. But do you know that sickle cell disease can be prevented? It starts with knowing your genotype. Do you also know that sickle cell is not a death sentence? With early diagnosis and the right medical care, some are living to celebrate their 90th birthdays. That is why the International Sickle Cell Center and Airtel Tigo are pushing the Touching Lives initiative to raise awareness. My name is Dr. Mary Anson. Get tested to know your sickle cell genotype. To learn more, visit www.iacc.international.
This initiative is brought to you by the International Sickle Cell Center, ISCC, in partnership with Airtel Tigo Touching Lives.
Airtel Tigo. Life is simple. Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Time check is 17 minutes past 9. As I said, to mark King's Day, which is a Dutch National Day on the 27th of April. The Netherlands Embassy in Ghana is organizing an Orange Week from the 24th till the 28th of April, which includes a series of events highlighting the Dutch culture through music and arts and celebrates its relationship with Ghana. I have in studio the ambassador, His Excellency Jeroen Verheul. Good morning.
Good morning, Bernard.
How did I pronounce your name? Did I do well?
You did very well. You passed the test.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you this morning?
I'm very well. You've been in Ghana since August 2021.
That's correct.
How has your stay been so far?
Excellent. Yeah. Ghana is a beautiful country.
Mm.
And I love Accra. I love the people. So I'm very much enjoying my stay here.
Wonderful. So what is Orange Week and what is its relevance?
Well, fortunately, after a long period of COVID and a long period of reduction of public activities, we are now able again to host Orange Week and to celebrate the links between Ghana and the Netherlands and the history of the links between Ghana and the Netherlands. So we're very fortunate to be able to do that. And this year we started on the 24th of April. The 27th of April is the actual day that our king has his birthday, and that is also the national day of the Netherlands. So we celebrate both his birthday, but also our national unity and the fact that we have been independent for many, many centuries. That's a celebration we have on the 27th of April.
So you are actually a kingdom?
Yes, the Netherlands is a monarchy. And that means that our head of state is the king. We used to have a queen for many, many years. Queen Wilhelmina, Queen Juliana, Queen Beatrix. So it depends on who is the first in line, who is the first child of the reigning monarch.
Okay.
And in this case, it was a man, Willem-Alexander. And he took to the throne in 2013 when his mother abdicated. So we're not like the UK, where the Queen waited until she died to hand over to her son. But in our country, our heads of state retire and they hand over to their sons.
So is this a constitutional monarchy?
It is, yeah.
Interesting. So there's a prime minister?
Yes. So the head of state is the king, and the head of government is the prime minister.
And this person is voted for, not appointed.
The
prime minister.
The prime minister is it's a bit complicated because we have elections for our lower house, for our parliament. And then based on the composition of the political parties in parliament, there is a formation process of a government. Because we always need coalitions.
Yeah.
There's never, like in Ghana,
Dominant party.
a dominant party that can create the government. So you now have a coalition of 5 parties to form the government. And that coalition decides who is the prime minister. And that person is then nominated by the king.
And then it takes office. So how is this King's Day celebrated in the Netherlands?
In the Netherlands, it's a holiday, a national holiday. And many activities are organized in every municipality and every city in the Netherlands. And it starts often with sports activities, with cultural activities, with music activities. So it's a real celebration. But the highlight of many activities is the so-called free market, the flea markets. So everybody can put a blanket on the ground and take stuff from his attic or his cellar and then sell it during the day.
Wow.
Without
At any
the police
price.
interfering with them.
So every space can be a market for that day.
Absolutely, yeah.
This King's Day.
And there are even people in Amsterdam, for example, our capital, where people spend the night on their favorite spot to reserve it for the next day so that they have the best spot for the flea market.
It's that serious?
It's that serious.
People buy a lot of things. Why is it called Orange Week in Ghana, by the way? Because your flag has 3 colors.
That's correct, yeah. Yeah, our flag is often confused with the MPP flag.
Red, white, and blue.
Exactly,
Yes.
the same colors.
Yes.
Yeah. So when I arrived here in Ghana, I was looking at Usherford at the Fisher Harbour, and I saw all these red, white, and blue flags on the fishing boats, and I thought, the Netherlands is very popular. But later I understood that the MPP flag has the same colors as we have. But your question, the orange, the king of the Netherlands is descendant of the House of Orange.
Okay.
And the House of Orange is an ancient French noble family named after the city of Orange in France. And so the first king of the Netherlands, or the first ruler of the Netherlands in 1580, 1590, was William of Orange. And he led the war that liberated us from the Spanish, the 80 Years' War between 1588 and 1648.
So it's pronounced Oranje.
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 Yeah,
Which is
Willem
orange.
van Oranje.
Which is why the national team wears orange.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because we don't see that in your flag.
No, so on the 27th we'll fly the orange banner. So on the birthdays of the royal house, we fly the royal banner, the orange banner on our flag.
Wonderful. In our history, when you do history in Ghana, talk about the Dutch, the Danes, and then the English. The Dutch got here pretty early. I think after the Danes, they came here after the Danes, and then they sort of left and handed over everything to. So I think it's the 18th century, right? That Ghana earlier,
much earlier.
Actually, 16th century. Oh,
17th century. Yeah, early 1600s.
Okay, so that's almost how many?
That's almost 400.
400 years.
Yeah.
Of How has that evolved in your view?
I think at that time the ties were very strong, and later on, in present day times, the ties remain very strong. So we've seen an evolution over the many centuries. But if you look at the heart of our relation, there are a few elements at heart, and that is that we have common political interests internationally, that we trade very strongly, so we have common economic interests, and we also have a lot of exchange of people. For example, there are more than 40,000 people of Ghanaian descent living in the Netherlands. They migrated to the Netherlands. So there are strong links between Ghana and
40,000.
Yeah.
Wow. Will that be the African country with the most people?
I think so, yeah. Well, not really, because I should call it the sub-Saharan African
SSA.
country.
Yeah.
Because Morocco is another country that has sent a lot of people to the Netherlands. So I think.
So in
they are the
SSA,
largest-
Ghana will have the largest community.
Yeah, I think I need to check my figures, but I guess it's one of the biggest. If not
Yeah,
the biggest.
in Ghana, travel abroad is of course UK, US, but there's also Germany and Holland, and there's a lot of Ghanaians who they call it Amsterdam.
Yeah.
So when they say they are going to Amsterdam, it's basically talking about
the Netherlands.
Yeah, a very popular airline as well. Royal Dutch Airlines, I think it's one of the most popular airlines in the country.
Daily flights.
Yes.
To Ghana, and I'm always amazed that they're always full.
All the
It's so
time.
busy.
All the time. Even for people going to other parts of the world, they still prefer to use.
They go through Schiphol.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's how it's pronounced.
I don't know.
Because
Schiphol,
is it
Schiphol?
Schiphol or Schiphol?
Schiphol.
Okay.
What?
Schiphol.
We have the in our language, and we use it quite often. And it was so difficult for other people to speak that language.
Yeah.
That we used it as a password during the Second World War. So if you wanted to enter somewhere and you had to say the password, we used the word Scheveningen.
Okay.
And because the Germans, who were occupying the Netherlands during the Second World War, were not able to pronounce the so we could easily pick them out.
But by the way, now we're at it. Why Netherlands versus Holland? What's the...
Holland is the name of two of our provinces.
Okay.
So originally, the Netherlands was formed from 7 provinces.
Okay.
And one of those provinces was Holland. And the others were Friesland, Gelderland,
Oh,
Zeeland. So we
Friesland.
had
I've seen that milk.
other places as well.
Okay.
But let's say the most economic activity
It's
is
in
taking
Holland.
place in Holland, in South and North Holland.
So the country is actually the Netherlands.
That's correct, yeah, the Netherlands, the lower countries.
Is that why the French call it Pays-Bas?
I explained to you some time back, if you remember.
So when you say the lower country, is it like below sea level?
That's the reason, yeah. So we have always had to protect our country against the seawater and the rivers. So we are the country that is famous about its water management, building dikes, for example. So a large part of our country...
dikes? Van Dijk?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A large part of our country is below sea level.
You also use a lot of wind energy.
Yes, and that is also since the 16th, 17th century. So we have these ancient windmills, but we've, in the meantime, changed and innovated on that. But still, a lot of windmills are generating...
So in terms of your energy mix, you are one of the countries with the most renewables within...
Unfortunately not.
You are not?
Still need to, because one of the things that we are lacking is space. So if you compare the size of the Netherlands with Ghana, the Netherlands is about 1/4 of the size of Ghana. And we have the half of the inhabitants, about 18 million, 1/8. So we're quite a tightly populated, densely populated country. And therefore we don't have a lot of space, and there's a lot of competition for space. And that is the reason why we have not been able to produce as much
renewable.
We're now moving to the North Sea, which is between the UK and the Netherlands, the North Sea, and we're building wind parks on the North Sea.
Yeah. In terms of your collaboration with Ghana, I know trade and economic is pretty big. I was wondering whether renewable energy was one of those, because it seems to be something I see the Danes and the Germans promoting more, which is interesting. But what are the major highlights of the economic relationship from your perspective?
Well, renewable energy is one of them. There is a company here that is very active in solar energy. Help me again. Dutch & Co. Yeah.
Dutch & Co.
Dutch & Co. So very Dutch name. And they are very active in large-scale renewable energy provision. The other elements are mainly in the agricultural field, next to KLM, of course, which is the transport link and the logistics. Logistics and ports activities are quite active. But for example, in Tema, you have a factory that produces food for chicken and for fish, for aquaculture and for poultry, which is called another nice name, Koudijs de Heus. But if I say Koudijs, nobody knows what I'm talking about. So everybody talks about koedies.
Okay. That's the name of the company. And it's a Dutch company.
It's a Dutch company with a long tradition in feeding cattle. And they have established a factory here, and they're doing very well.
Interesting. So as you celebrate this weekend, the King's Day, what's your message firstly to the Dutch community in Ghana, which I'm not sure is that big?
No, it's not as big as the Ghanaian community in the Netherlands.
Yeah, it's not.
But my message to the Dutch community is congratulations. Congratulations on the birthday of your king, who is turning 57. But also congratulations to being a member of a very important community, an important political community, but also an important economic community. Just to give you one example, if you talk about agricultural exports of goods and services, can you guess who is the first exporter of agricultural goods and services
in
the world?
The first, obviously, is the Dutch.
Almost. We are second. The United States is the first.
Okay.
But we are the second. And our annual export of goods and services in agriculture is about 110 billion euros.
Wow.
Which is about twice the size of the GDP of Ghana.
That is incredible. And this is just agricultural products.
This is only agriculture and only export.
Wow. And for a country that's 1/5 the size of Ghana, that's a lesson in a lot of things. Wonderful. So what's happening on the 27th, by the way? So is there an official event?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. So 27th at my residence, I'll be hosting our business contacts and our official contacts, our government contacts. for a reception. Also, the colleagues of the diplomatic community will be there. And there we celebrate our National Day and strengthen the networks that we work in. Because, our collaboration with Ghana is with government, of course, but also with other representatives of society. And we're going to strengthen those relations also in the coming year. For example, when the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ghana is going to send a delegation to the Netherlands next month in order to conduct our annual bilateral consultations. So we have very strong relations, and the work of the embassy, and my work in particular, is to strengthen those relations. And events like tomorrow are events that help strengthening those relations.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for passing through. Congratulations on the King's birthday and also on the Dutch Orange Week. That's happening this whole week. I was speaking to H.E. Jeroen Fairhill, who's the ambassador for the Netherlands in Accra, Ghana, on the occasion of the 57th birthday of the King of the Netherlands. Wonderful.
The power of radio. This is Citi 97.3.
Time check is 9:34. If your health is important to you, you need to be talking to Vigdang Healthcare, a Ghana Health Service certified healthcare center that specializes in kidney stones, hepatomegaly, hypertension, fatty liver treatment, among others. We specialize in using 100% natural medicine in all treatments. Vigdang Healthcare is on the Spintex Road behind the Standard Chartered Bank. Call us on 054-995-1211. Empower yourself with a practical qualification in corporate finance, financial markets, and investment management, including practical application in financial modeling. CFA is a globally recognized standard of measuring the expertise, experience, and ethics of investment professionals. CFA Level 1 eligibility has been extended to university students with less than 2 years remaining in their undergraduate studies. Get the right tuition support from Benchmark. Call 0277-511315 or go to benchmarkghana.com for more information. Coming up next, we have a conversation with the GRA who are mobilizing revenue. Charlie. They are here to talk about Tax and Good Governance Month, talking about electronic filing of annual tax returns, and on their collaboration with MMDAs in the collection of property rates. They have an official from the GRA who's going to be joining me to talk about this right after this. Stay with us.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Hisense is best known for all your electronic appliance needs, such as television, refrigerator, chest freezer, and air conditioners. But did you know we have laser television, gas cooker, washing machine, smartphones, sound systems, water dispenser, microwave, blender, rice cooker, kettle, iron, air fryer, just to mention a few. Hisense is the only electronic company in Ghana that gives you 5 years manufacturer defect warranty. Visit any of our showrooms in Accra, also in Tema, Kumasi, Takrade, Takwa, Mankesim, Obuasi, Sunyani, Techima, Tamale, Hohoi, Kofodia to purchase any Hisense product at the best price. Hisense means best quality, best durability, best for energy efficiency, best for affordability, best for style, and best for technology. You can always get in touch on 0302-550000 or go to www.hisense.com.gh. We are also available on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Hisense Ghana. Hisense, everyday prices for everyday people.
Kofi, Kwame, you know, I know, Ajwa knows. Even Brima said it yesterday that millions of Ghanaians are taking the COVID-19 vaccines, and they all say it is the right thing to do. It is safe, so take your ID and go to the nearest health facility
or any COVID-19 vaccination center
to get the jab. It will protect you from being knocked down by the disease or even going on admission. Protect yourself and protect your family. If you had the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, then you can go for the booster shot after your first dose. The vaccines are there. They are safe and they are free. Protect yourself, protect your family, protect your community. The COVID-19 vaccine reduces the severity of the disease and prevents hospitalization.
This message is brought to you by Ghana Health Service. Good life, live it well. USAID and partners.
OneXBet. Easy betting, easy winning. OneXBet, reliable bookmaker that offers you a huge range of bonuses, great odds, and many chances to win. Register now on onexbet.com.gh and use promo code PLAY1 to get 300% bonus up to 3,445 Ghana cedis on your first deposit. OneXBet gives you more.
Gambling can be addictive. Bet responsibly. Not for person under 18 years. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission.
No power. Another season of the Citi FM Family Consecration is here again. Your family radio station invites you to the 2023 edition of the Family Consecration Service. Let's hold ourselves in readiness as we prepare for a time of divine renewal, visitation, and restoration for our families and loved ones. Join us on Monday, 1st of May, 2023 at the Winners Chapel, Ghana, Accra, near the OA Bus Terminal Circle as we intercede and commit our families to God. It's going to be a 6-hour intense moment of prayer time for families from 6 a.m. till 12 noon. Come and let us reinforce the resurrection power of Christ, which ensures our forgiveness, healing, business breakthroughs and open doors, sound and prosperous marriages, divine blessings in career and destiny fulfillment over our families. There will also be a time for the renewal of vows for married couples. The 2023 Family Consecration Service is powered by 97.3 Citi FM with support from Citi TV. As always, the family that prays together stays together.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Time check is 9:39 in studio. Dominic Dokbila Nab, Assistant Commissioner and Technical Aide to Commissioner General, Ghana Revenue Authority. In short, a big man. He's here to answer some questions on the GRA. Look, I could keep you all day. So many questions, so we'll break it down. We'll try and do it in pieces. We'll start with the tax and governance, good governance month. You can wear it, yes. Then we'll talk about electronic filing. Then I would ask you some questions around property rates, which I'm very interested in as well. And then hopefully, if there are any comments from the public, we'll address them. So how are you? Good morning. How are you doing?
Oh, by the grace of God, I'm doing so well.
You know, we don't like seeing you people.
Oh, why?
Oh, you challenge, you worry people too much. So, you know, in the Bible, there were two groups of people they didn't like, the sinners and the tax collectors. So you people... Anyway.
I think the narrative has changed.
It's changed?
Yes, because we are now being seen as persons who are really creating development in the country.
No, we don't argue with that. But the tax payment is painful.
Oh, yes. That is why we try to make it less painful.
With electronic filing.
Exactly.
We'll come to that. But what do we mean by the Tax and Good Governance Month?
Okay, thank you very much. And good morning to your listeners.
Mm-hmm.
The Ghana Revenue Authority has set aside the month of April.
Okay.
To actually conscientize and create the needed awareness about the reasons to file and the importance of filing and also payment of taxes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So that's what we've done across the country.
The whole of April?
Exactly.
I see.
Yeah.
So apart from the filing of returns by taxpayers, are there any other activities lined up for this month?
Oh, yes. We have a lot of activities. We have our tax clinics in our various offices. So that if you have any concern, you can just walk to our office and then we'll help you be able to unravel them.
So let's talk about electronic filing. When we say a tax return, what are we talking about?
Essentially, it has an obligation, and filing of tax returns is one of the obligations. A tax return simply is just an official declaration by the taxpayer that contains the taxpayer's information and then income that the taxpayer earns. And it is also to just give the Commissioner General the if you like, the panoramic view, of your activities, and to be able to actually make a fair assessment. There are various types of, tax returns. There are some that are filed monthly. There are some that are also filed, annually.
Wonderful. So who is required to file a return?
Any income earner. In fact, if you earn income in Ghana, you are required to file a tax return. So individuals also earn income. Then partners and partnerships are required to file, their returns. Then we have companies, and then we have even corporate entities as well. That is government organizations as well.
And why do I have to file my return as a taxpayer?
There are many reasons why you have to file your tax returns. One has to do with the fact that you want Commissioner to be able to raise a fair assessment, on your activities. We don't want a situation where our assessment will be based on Commissioner's judgment. So Commissioner would want to actually have a tax return on you and make a fair assessment, because there's no point in asking the taxpayer to pay even 1 cedi more than what the law requires. That is one. Number two, sometimes a taxpayer overpays taxes. So it is upon filing of your tax return that you are able to actually get a refund, of the overpaid taxes. Again, there are some costs that you have incurred in running your business. So those costs, the law requires that when they are legitimate and they are germane to your business, then clearly you can take them as allowable deductions. Again, we also have a release for persons, individuals. For example, if you are married, or you are not married but you have 2 children, the law requires that you are given what we call 1,200 as a relief. Is that okay? If you have a child in school, the law requires that you are given 600 per a child, limited to 3 children. If you are old, 60 years and above, then you are given 1,500 as a relief. If you also have aged relations, let's say mother, father, or some other persons that you take care of, who are old, the law requires that you are given 1,000, limited to 2. So that is if there are 2,000 Ghana cedis. Again, there are certain persons who also pursue vocational, technical, and professional education. Up to 2,000 Ghana cedis, they can also, take that one as well. Now, if you don't file your tax returns, how do you, get this reliefs, which are mouth-watering? Is that okay? Again, you buy a depreciable asset, a vehicle, building, and whatnot that you use to aid in your business. The law requires that when you file your tax returns, you can claim what we call a capital allowance. The accountant will say depreciation, but the taxman will say capital allowance. So it is among these reasons that would require that you file your tax returns. Again, even the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana requires that a tax return is actually filed.
Wonderful. Let's talk about how. How do I go about filing my return?
Yeah, so we were doing it manually, even though it's all there, but we are trying to discourage it because we want to actually be cost effective. Is that okay? So all that you need to do is, first of all, just go into your browser. Is that okay? And then go to what we call taxpayerportal.com. When you get in there, then you sign up if you are a new taxpayer. But an existing taxpayer, you would sign up using your Ghana card and then your password. Yes. Then the dashboard will open up, for you to fill. In fact, it is very seamless because you can see everything. If it is a salary that you earned, it will be stated salary. So you can see that this is salary for a year. Then you add up all your earnings for, the year, and then you put it there. Is that okay? Allowances and all those things. Reliefs. If it is also a business that you are running, the cost and what have you, you put all of them there. At the end of the day, the system is able to generate how much you are supposed to pay. If you also, again, you have also made tax overpayment, the system will generate that you have made overpayment, and therefore you are liable to claim it as a refund.
I see. And if you go there and you enter, if your employer has been paying taxes using your TIN number, will the records be there to show that this is the same person?
Yes, exactly. Because of the Ghana card that we use. So you are able to actually, get that kind of connection.
Wonderful. Let's talk about the people who can use the system. Is this system open to all in terms of filing personal tax income returns?
Yes. It is.
Everybody can do this?
Everybody can do it. And I hope before we leave here, you have to try your hands on it.
What about corporate? Can companies also file using the portal?
Yes, companies can.
So companies have their corporate TIN numbers.
Yes, exactly.
So the same process. The accountant can go
in
and do this.
Yeah.
And what about manual? So what about those who are like, I don't understand this computer thing, and I want to just go to the office? or come to the office. Is that option still available?
In fact, it is. We have persons who are actually dedicated to that. You walk to any GRA office and then you can be assisted. You call us on phone, we can also walk you through how to get it done.
All right. Now, let's talk about the returns on due dates, because there are dates that are given. So if I fail to file the return on a due date, what happens to me?
It is actually an offense not to file on a due date.
Okay.
That apart, it also creates what we call a penalty for the persons who actually do not file on due date. It is 500 Ghana plus 10 Ghana cedis for each day if the default continues. So if you default for 2 days, that is 2 times 10 plus the 500 Ghana.
But me, I don't have money to pay tax now to file. You're charging me on top. Why are you doing that?
That is the reason why you have to file to avoid that.
But what if there's a problem and the filing cannot be done on the date? Can there not be a can the commissioner cannot give me an extension like a 1 week or 1 month or something?
The law allows the Commissioner General to, so you can apply. In fact, the law says that the Commissioner General will give up to 60 days. I get it. So you can apply for it. But you must give reasons.
But is there, when am I supposed to
again, you have to also do it before the due date.
Of course, if you don't wait till the date and you can't say, all right, now when am I, so what is the due date in this case for personal income tax?
So personal income tax, the law says that not more than 4 months after the end of the year. In the case of individuals.
Is it end of financial year or end of year?
So individuals, their basis period is aligned with the government calendar year, which is January to December. Is that okay? But so for corporate bodies, trust, they can have a basis period which is different. So what it is that when your basis period ends, it shouldn't go beyond 4 months. Are you getting it?
Okay.
But for individuals, you and me, it is 30th April, which is 4 months. Are you getting it? So you don't have to wait. You can do that in January, February, in that order. It shouldn't go beyond 30th April.
What if the due date falls on a weekend or a holiday?
Yeah, so with the electronic filing, there's nothing like weekends. But we encourage that you file before. Otherwise, if the deadline is on a weekend and you are not able to file, then the system would brand you as a non-filer.
Okay, and of course you can apply for extension. Let's talk about property rate now. We're talking to Dominic Nab, Assistant Commissioner and Technical Aid to the Commissioner General. It's 9:14. I'll give you 2 quick announcements before we come back. We'll talk about property rates, which is a big one. Their collaboration with MMDAs in collection of property rates, something we really encourage on this program.
Great. Well, Standard Water has been giving all of us water for 25 years. They have great experience doing that. They are in 11 regions and they are expanding. And they have water, different things, really. Sachet water, bottled water, dispenser water, customized water, and all. So you can call Standard Water on 0202 055 703 or 0547 334 385. And this ad is FDA approved.
Okay.
Now, for those who want to branch out into analytics and tech and all of that, build your business analysis skills, get the business analysis certification, and be sure to capitalize on the high demand across industries. Enroll today and take the first step on your way to a brighter future with an IIBA business analysis certification. You can call the Center for Business Analysis on 0246 809 200 or visit their website centerforanalytics.com. And your eyes are important to you. You need to give them the best care and attention. That's why Roberts and Sons is giving you the best in terms of products. Find their various branches at Denta, Weja, Dabraka, Osudankwa Circle, Tema, East Legon, Kumasi, and they have a new branch at Kofredria as well. You can call them on 050-151-9111 or 020-372-8545 for more information. Visit them online, robertsandsonsoptical.com, or get them on social media, Roberts and Sons Ltd. Roberts and Sons, seeing is believing.
We're talking to the GRA, and those of you are asking, the website is simple, taxpayersportal.com. When you go on the website, you see the GRA logo, and then you see a small padlock that says log into your account, and you can either use your TIN number or your Ghana card number to enter.
In the case of individuals.
Yes, so as an individual, your Ghana card number is linked to your TIN. So if you put your, so you may not have your TIN number in your head, but if you have your Ghana card, you put a Ghana card number, it's the same, it's linked to, I think we did that here. I think it was 2 years ago, all of us. So everybody who has a TIN number and has a Ghana card, the two, even though it's not the same number, It recognizes it.
Yes,
So if you
yes,
put your Ghana card number in, it will pull your name out and you log in. A very simple process.
They have been synchronized.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. They've been synchronized. So, which is good. The Ghana card is really doing a lot of things. Let's talk about how the collaboration with MMDAs in the collection of property tax and property rate has gone. How has it been so far?
Thank you very much. It is actually not out of order what GRA is doing with the MMDAs.
Mm-hmm.
What it is that if you look at the law establishing the Ghana Revenue Authority,
Mm-hmm.
it says that Ghana Revenue Authority should be able to provide assistance to the MMDAs.
Mm-hmm.
And that is exactly what we are doing in terms of this partnership and collaboration that you're talking about.
Mm.
So far, so good. So what we have done so far is that we have been able to have a data platform that has been, put together.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have also assisted in trying to actually identify properties across the country.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay? And then their values have also been determined, and the appropriate, risks will be applied. That is what we have done.
So, what is the rationale behind this partnership?
Yeah, so if you look at the Ghana Revenue Authority, we have been here, we have been around for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to professionalism, integrity, and then excellence, you can always trust us with that.
Mm-hmm.
It is against this background that the law says that we should support.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it comes to enforcement and compliance, procedures, we have them, and then we can actually leverage on that one to help the MMDs be able to raise the properties.
So we have been told there's something called myassembly.gov.gh. What is that?
It is actually a payment platform for the property rates that we are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we have the Ghana.gov platform.
Wonderful. Now, is this linked to your platform?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's linked?
Exactly.
Okay. Now, let's talk about sanctions for people who fail to pay property rates.
You see, when the law puts in place a system and you fail to actually comply, it becomes an offense.
Okay.
And you can be prosecuted.
Okay.
Your property can also be sold to actually defray the little cost that you're supposed to pay.
Mm-hmm.
It's always better to just be ahead of the law by paying what you're supposed to pay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how will the assemblies benefit from this new arrangement?
They are going to benefit immensely in terms of being able to mobilize, all the property risks. That is one. Two, it's also going to be very cost effective because they have the GRA that is actually partnering them. Then they can also monitor real time what is happening around them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what will be the role of the existing revenue collectors of the assemblies? Because the assemblies have employed these revenue collectors. Now you have this new system. How is this going to work?
Yeah, we just want to assure them that they shouldn't be disillusioned. Mm-hmm. They are going to actually be maintained, deployed to assist property owners be able to actually file and also do monitoring. Any other assignment that may actually come their way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But will ratepayers be allowed to pay with cash?
We don't accept cash because of the difficulties involved when it comes to cash handling and cash management.
Yeah.
So they can pay via Momo and then using their bank system.
So you want to avoid cash changing hands because the money gets lost in the system.
That is certainly something we can't.
So we can trace the money. How would GRA benefit from this arrangement? Because you already have different taxes you are collecting already. So it looks like you are providing your tax collection services to the assembly.
Exactly.
How much are they going to pay you for it?
We are talking about Ghana as a country. And GRA, per the law, remember, I said that. The law says we should assist. So that is part of our functions. So at the end of the day, we want the betterment for Ghana. That is just all that we are doing. If something comes, along the line, that is fine.
You should tell us, give full disclosure so we know what is happening. But in terms of paying the property rate, can we do it in installment?
Yes, the law allows for convenience. If you don't have the money to pay, certainly you can arrange and then to pay over a period.
So it's not like you have to pay it in bulk at once.
That's all. The silver bullet payment can be very disturbing sometimes.
I'm told that from 2023 there will be no paper bills.
Certainly yes.
But what if I need them for my files?
Oh yeah, you can generate it from the system.
You can print it for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You can also walk to GRA office or any MMDs and then it will be done for you.
But as a company or individual with properties scattered across the country, how do we access our bills for payment?
Yeah, so you would want all the properties that you own to be identified with the particular person. So what it is that you will go to the system and register each of them. Are you getting it? Against a particular person.
All right.
When that happens, then you would have both the isolated, properties as well as the consolidated.
We're talking to Dominic NAB, Assistant Commissioner and Technical Aid to the Commissioner General. If you have any questions, send us a WhatsApp on 054-998-696. Nathan will read some quick questions for us.
Okay. This person is okay. Says when you file and you have tax credits and you input it, it does not take into consideration. It only captures the taxable payable amount, and is asking for some.
Do you understand the question?
No, I don't think the question is very clear.
When you file and have tax credits and you input it, it does not take that into consideration.
Okay.
It only captures. So it's saying that maybe I owe 2,000 as my taxable amount.
I understand what it's
and then I have a tax credit from something I've done. He's expecting that slot will be available to input.
When we say it captures the taxable payable amount, what it means is that the tax that you are supposed to pay. But again, remember, if you have made any payment, there's a portion for it, for you to put it there. So if you put it there, are you getting it? So the tax credit he's talking about is taxes that have been taken, you have paid in advance by way of tax credits, withholding taxes.
All right.
So if you have paid, that becomes a payment.
Okay.
So that cannot be correct.
Yeah. Okay. This one says, can you ask your panelists what happens if the GRA delays in issuing withholding tax certificates to companies? For 2 years, I've been waiting for my withholding tax certificates from different companies so I can file my PIT.
Personal income tax.
But they claim GRA has not issued it, and it's been 2 years now.
You see, let's look at the law. In time past, GRA was issuing the tax credit certificates. GRA was roundly criticized. So the law was amended, or the law actually changed to now say that the withholdee is that okay? Should take it from the withholding agent. So it means that it is the withholding agent who is required to actually issue that. But again, what we realized was that they were issuing certificates which were inconsistent. Are you getting it? And certificates should be uniform. So it's against this background, we say, okay, fine. What we'll do is that we would help build a system. Is that okay? So that we can, anybody who actually requires it, you can print it for the system. And that's exactly what we are working on. In fact, very soon, we should be able to print it online.
All right.
More. This one says, employees don't know and understand the breakdown of all these taxes on the form. Plus, they require your financial statement to be uploaded. This applies to business and investment income. How do they expect us to have all these when I run a sole proprietorship? So,
no, the fact of the matter is that how do you submit your tax return? It is carved from your financial statements, and then your bank statement is also, evidence of the fact that you have a relationship with the bank. You deposit, you withdraw, from the bank. So attaching them is just to provide further proof. You get it of your relationship with, your third parties.
Okay.
And for that matter, GRA.
Last question.
Someone is asking, has the value of the property rate changed or is still the same? And how exactly does the system currently know what you were paying in the past?
Okay. What you were paying in the past is already in the system. So you can always go into the system and check. If it was done manually, then you have to actually approach the MMDAs to be able to actually get it for you.
All right.
You say your name and probably the number.
But it's asking if the value of property rate has changed.
As of properties, the values will always change depending on a lot of dynamics.
All right.
Is that okay? And we have experts who are actually good at that.
Any final comments?
Yeah, so all that I would just say is that Ghana is the only country that we have. And we just have to mobilize, taxes internally. Let's all work hard, is that okay, to ensure that we get all others who are not filing to file, all those who are not paying to pay, so that we can have a better country.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for talking to us. Dominic Dokbila Nab, Assistant Commissioner and Technical Aid to the Commissioner General from the GRA, talking about awareness creation on Tax and Good Governance Month, which is still this month. It's not too late. Go online and file. Coming up next is the Citi News at 10. Kalakuda is already here.